Alright. Hello, everyone. You were supposed to jump. Alright, hello, everyone. We're gonna do some more of this. I don't know how this is gonna affect us, actually, right here. But since we're kind of, like, still experimenting anyways, it doesn't really matter. I don't know how big of a difference that's really gonna make. It might make a big difference, but who knows. We should definitely do the event.
That's it! Soon Ascalon City will be back in Char paws.
I hope you guys are doing good. I didn't stream yesterday because I was busy working on the video. You guys have no idea how much there is to this video. It is so much work. But I'm getting there. I spent about 8 hours yesterday just straight up sitting here at the computer from like 6:30 until 2:30 in the morning. I was just sitting here working away at editing the video and stuff. So, but it's coming together and it's looking really good, and I hope you guys will like it. But that's a lot. Just finished double dose of Winter's Day. I haven't done a single Winter's Day daily. I haven't done any Winter's Day. I haven't even looked at it. Yeah, I saw the Dequaddle thing, which is nice.
Onward! Let nothing stand in our way.
But yeah,
Forge ahead.
it's been crazy. I had a lot of just yesterday was like a weird day for me. It was a really weird day, and I was like, I just had to, like, the first half of my day up until like 6, like I said, until I started like streaming, or not streaming, but working on the video. I was like, just, I didn't want to do life. I literally was like, I don't want to do anything. I'm not gonna stream. I don't want to talk to anyone. But then I really wanted to work on the videos, so I spent 8 hours doing that. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I think, like I said, I think one of the things, like the Beast Mastery changes are really interesting sounding to me, and I like some of the Necro changes that they're doing as well. What I always, and this is something, again, whether or not like you like the changes that are coming in, I think there's some things that are frustrating in there, like the constant disregard for Warrior, for example, and like how this Warrior gets no buffs whatsoever. They just keep nerfing it and nerfing it and nerfing it. It's really frustrating. But beside that, really, I think the really interesting thing that I like that they're doing is that again, it's not just number adjustment, but like this time around, they're actually like moving around and deleting certain traits, which I think is really good, because I think there are some traits that are just best in slot at all times, right? And like everyone's gonna pick that one. So I really like that they're moving stuff around and making it feel competitive. To the point where it's like, ooh, okay, do I want this or do I want this, right? And it feels like that's where they're moving with the balance as well. I mean, I've been praising their balance for a while now, but I do like that. Like I said, there is some pain points. There's still some pain points in the sense that you could really tell that there's certain developers that are favoring some classes over others, and you know how there's like a constant disregard for like certain classes, and like, or like specifically even certain specs of certain classes that haven't seen any updates at all or any buffs in any shape or form, you know, or even specific weapons, like specific aspects of balancing have been completely ignored, you know, and that's something that is still really frustrating. And it's really frustrating that ArenaNet is just ignoring the public when it comes to those things, because there's so many people that are out there that are giving good ideas, that are giving good feedback, that are you know, they have all this like, hey, by the way, you forgot about this, here's a cool way of changing this, right? Like Warrior Greatsword. Like they changed, yes, one of the skills was that, I think that's the force. Oh, okay, there's entirely way too many. I don't know where all of these guys came from all of a sudden, but I'm running away. All of a sudden there's way more than there were before. You know, and that's crazy to me, because it's like Warrior Greatsword, for example, has been such a pain point. It's such a boring weapon. It doesn't bring anything really to the table. Like, yes, it feels like it looks great, like a warrior, you know, with a greatsword. Like, that's awesome, you know, but it doesn't mean it's a good weapon. I don't think it's a good weapon at all. And yes, the changes they did to that force skill are great. But I'm like, what about the other things? Like, people have been talking about Thousand Blade for years, for probably the better part of a decade now, about how that shouldn't root you in place and how you should be able to move around. And they don't change it at all. It's like, what the hell, man? Switched over. Yeah, they're just adding entire new traits, removing stuff, add features of classes as a core feature. Yeah. Didn't see baseline virtues having very some warriors. It tells me Arena has future vision to... Yeah, I mean, I like most of the changes, but I still think that ArenaNet has a long way to go, or specifically the balance team has a long way to go with listening a little bit more to their player base, right? Like right now, and I think, you know, I talked about this a lot, it's like right now ArenaNet is in that listening to the player base state, right? But I feel like that has not reached the balance team. I think the balance team is still very ignorant and very, not ignorant, I don't know if I would call them ignorant. I think I would call them arrogant. Arrogant enough to say that they know that they play all of their classes enough to know exactly where what change needs to be. Like that, to me, you know, it's kind of like this, oh, we're not going to take, you know, suggestions from the players because we're the developers and we know exactly what needs. And it's just kind of like, well, sometimes you don't, because, you know, there was like a really good post made about like World vs. World, like how these changes are affecting like World vs. World and stuff. And someone was pretty much just kind of saying like, hey, you know, some of these changes are great, but a lot of these are kind of shit. And here's a way of how this is impacting the game, and like you're not looking at this game mode fully when maybe you should, right? Like, and so, like I said, this is just a nitpick, you know, but for the most part, I really like where they're going with this. I like where they're going with the balance. I like having the class identity. I like, specifically when I look at something, when I look at something like Ranger, you know, where the mechanic is a pet, but the pets have been completely ignored for like ever now, and you're just kind of like, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna add like pets in, and like, you know, the way that they have chosen to balance, the way that they've chosen to balance the pets is by adding new pets that are good and that fill in kind of the roles that are lackluster. And it's just like, well, that's not really how you balance something. Like, you balance the core of it, and then you kind of do that, you know, you do stuff with it from there. And I feel like, you know, they finally, like, looking at Beast Mastery and changing the stuff around, I'm like, thank God. And I know Luke was saying, like, yeah, the points aren't enough, but I think like doubling them from 150 to 300 is already a huge change. Like, that's already massive in, you know, in that sense. Like, there's a lot to like there, you know. And I think ArenaNet is on the way of getting, you know, it's nice that they're paying attention to some of the stuff that they haven't looked at for a long time too, right? One of the complaints that I had about balancing for a long time was that they like look at the same, you know, the same trade lines over and over and over again. And it's like, oh yeah, you know, we just like 3 months ago we did this trade line, but you know, now it's like overtuned and now we're changing some stuff more. It's like, okay, can you look at some other things? There is like so many trade lines to be worked on, you know. So I really hope that it's also one other thing that I have to say is that what they're doing right now the changes. Oh, I gotta move over to another map. These changes that they're doing, I realized are really like it's not huge. Okay, so the way that ArenaNet had pointed it out and the way that ArenaNet had been planning, like I said, I think one of the big sour spots is still the balance patches. I think there's still very much that they can work on. So ArenaNet was talking about how, you know, they moved over to the every 3 months so that they can do all these big changes all at once, right? And they can have these big balance patches, and you know, they can just like pretty much create this cycle of like every 3 months we're gonna just kind of flip stuff over and like just kind of change all these things around and whatever, right? And introduce these big changes and whatever, right? And I like that idea, but then I look at the changes that they're doing this time around, and it's really little. It's very little. And someone had put a comment out, and I kind of agreed with that a lot, actually. Someone said, you know, the game is 13 years old. I think it's time that you guys take like bigger swings and do bigger changes and kind of really flip shit, like just completely change things up. And I gotta say, I really agree with that sentiment. I really, really agree with that, because I think, like, I'm like, you know, that person has a point. Like, I really think, I'm like, you know, that person really has a point, because I think it's at the point now where, just change things around, you know? And it's just like, whatever, you know? There's always going to be something overpowered. There's always going to be something like best in slot or whatever, you know? But just like, really take like some risks on it, you know? Glad they keep changing the weapon specific trades, like the 200 sword trade for warrior just being bestial rage now. Yeah, I do like that as well. Oh, I was like, what? It doesn't seem small compared to other balances I've seen, but just like that, there's. Yeah, I don't know. I look at it and I'm like, there's not a lot of changes. Like, Warrior's really little. Like, Mesmer has like 3 changes in it. I mean, like, what? Like, there's barely anything in Mesmer. There are certain ones that they didn't even like look at. And to me, the thing is, if you're gonna say, okay, every 3 months we're gonna do huge balance patches and we're doing like huge like overhauls on like a lot of stuff, then I'm gonna expect you to deliver huge changes every 3 months. And this isn't really it. So it makes me think, what did the balance team do for 3 months? Like, I mean, they didn't play Mesmer. Oh my god, why? I lost half my health in one attack that this mage did. That is crazy. I mean, are they really big? I mean, a lot of people were just like, yeah, they made some changes, but Heal Chronomancer is like still really, really powerful. I mean, from what I've seen, people were just like either people really outraged, or people were saying like, you know, talking to the outraged people, like, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, it's still like they didn't kill it that much. But I also think like the problem is, and ArenaNet has created this problem themselves, and they should be aware of that, right? They should be aware of that as they move forward with their game. The idea that they, as they introduce new elite specializations, their balance patches need to be bigger. We can't have like huge balance patches like once a year, and then 3 times a year have like really tiny balance patches, when every year you're adding new weapons, new elite specs, new something to the game. Like, they need to be bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, that's how, just unfortunately how it is, right? And like, I get that like once in a while you can have these small ones or whatever, but the release of Visions of Eternity, yes, saw the introduction of new elite specializations, but the balance itself wasn't really there, you know? So I'm like, okay, so we didn't really get anything huge there. And then, this challenge is becoming really hard. Like, that, she did so much damage with one attack. She took 75% damage with one attack. I'm gonna have to be very careful with what I do. You know, and I just think Time Bomb does sound fun. Yeah, I did see that. But yeah, I just think that, you know, it's like, I get that core maybe isn't that interesting. I don't know. Like, I think that the balance needs to be there needs to be like equal balance to it, right? And I also, the thing also is that, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like their approach to how they do the whole thing. Like, I wish that they were more straightforward about specifically the things that they... I love how this is like a floating little... Oh, hello. Level 21. That's why I'm dying so quickly. I need to get out of here. They've been nothing but working on this fucking street for the last 6 months, and it's driving me insane. First they're working like right outside on the corner there, and then now they were working up there, now they're working over here. It's insane. I don't know. I like when there's unique things, because if you homogenize everything and you have, like, you know, every trait is kind of like, then there's nothing unique to, like, I don't know. I mean, that adds identity, right? Like, I like the idea of having unique effects that add identity to that specific thing, right? Like, people are going to be picking Mesmer maybe even specifically for Time Bomb, right? And, like, to me that's cool, like having specific reasons to pick specific classes over others. Like, if every class can do all of the things, then that's kind of like, I don't know, then there's no point in, like, picking any class, you know what I mean? Like, just, it's just, then it's like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna pick whatever because they can all do the same thing. Like, if everything is dependent on relics, then it's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna pick whatever I want. I don't know. I like the idea of having classes feel unique. Like, I like the approach of, like, ooh, okay, we have a Chronomancer, they can use Time Bomb. Like, that's cool to me, you know? Ooh, wow. Feels odd for them to do that when they just released. Well, that's the thing, is, like, there's a lot of things when it comes to, like, the balance, like, choices and stuff. Like, I know they give us a little dialogue on, like a little paragraph of, like, the changes, but, like, they don't really explain that much in the changes. So it's almost like, you know, I don't know. It's like, where are they getting their data from, right? Because, like, in a lot of those things they talk about, like, oh, this was overperforming. It's like, was it overperforming? Like, it's weird. Like, they make these random choices and then they give, like, reasoning, but it's kind of strange. And then they do, like, another thing that they really, like, that kind of drives me a little crazy is when they do what am I supposed to do with this? I guess I'm just gonna sort of, is when they do, like, they put a paragraph of, like, okay, we did these changes because this particular part of the profession is, like, overperforming, right? And they're just like, okay, so, you know, this and this is going on with this profession, and then you see the changes of what they were talking about, right? They were talking about, like, you know, this, right? And they're like, they moved some stuff around. And then they have a whole section of things that they change that have nothing to do with what they were talking about. It's like, okay, so I understand why you did these changes, because you described them and you kind of said, like, hey, we're changing this because of this and this and this, or it was overperforming or whatever, right? But then they add all these other changes that have, like, nothing to do with it. And it's like, okay, wait, why is all that in there? Like, I understand that you can't write like 7,000 paragraphs, but if you're gonna make the choice of saying we're gonna describe why we're doing changes and only describe half of the changes that you do, but not the other half, then that's kind of wrong, you know? Don't forget to breathe. Oh, this is how I talk. I quit when I'm looking for a new game. How much did the game change from its first year? A lot. A ton, yes. A lot. Or I would Wikipedia show the balance, because the way it's worded by internet is always big. Yeah, and they don't have icons also. Like, I don't know every... That's the thing, I don't know every skill name either. So it's kind of like... This mine does nothing. I mean, can I do something with that? Probably. Can I like partake in this? Here, have a mine. Okay, I did damage with that. So yeah, I think the balance team, if I had to like pick out the weakest part of the arena team right now, I would probably say it's the balance team. Definitely. I think the balance definitely needs to do better. I'm not saying that it's horrible, but I think the rest of the team's performing really, really well. Am I full? I'm full, you guys. I have too much stuff. I have all these things. I don't have room. Everything get out. I'm throwing this out. I don't need these right now. I gotta sell some stuff too. So, and I just, the streams also feel of like, I don't get the point in the streams because I haven't watched them. I watched the first like 3-4 like when they started doing the streams and stuff like that, and I know everyone is like fucking wants to suck Roy's dick, like it's, you know, whatever, you know, the guy is super popular, it's whatever. I mean, I don't know, whatever. But the thing is, like, there's nothing to it, you know. They do a PowerPoint presentation. There's no like, there's no structure to it, you know. It's just them streaming from home. Like, it's very like nonchalant, no pomp and circumstance. Like, it's just very just like, here you go, here's the thing, we have an hour, we're just gonna talk about this real quick, bye. It's like, whoa, okay, I guess. This says, hold on. This is refuge. Hold on, am I wrong on that? Does that say refuge? See, I'm trying to learn my new Crichton again. I'm trying to get back into it. I haven't done any translating because I've been busy, but yeah, this says refuge. So I had that right. Oh my god, I was like, okay, I gotta use my one brain cell to really work hard there. But excited for the Symbol Guardian finally, new NG Bleed build. Yeah, I don't play NG enough, and I haven't even touched it since the release of Visions of Eternity, so I just kind of skimmed over it because I don't really know anything about Engineer. I really should play more Engineer just to learn more. Elementalist is kind of whatever to me. I just tend to go to Reddit and just read what it says there. That's unfortunately where I'm at with those balance, because there's nothing. They don't bring anything with doing the streams. They don't really bring anything to it, right? They don't demonstrate anything. They don't like go into detail of like, you know, maybe the math behind it, right? And just kind of saying like, hey, well, if you do this and you do this, right? And like maybe have like, you know, certain like things where it's like, okay, well, if you do this, this is the number, and then if you do this, you have this number, and so that's why we changed it, because we think this number is too big, so we wanted it to be like more flexible, whatever, right? Like something like that is what I would like to see. Like just a little bit more of like thought behind the streams. I just, you know, because there's really no point. I don't see the point right now is why the, you know, to the streams. So that's, I guess that's my point. So, but hey, who knows? Maybe maybe one day. Obviously, I'm kind of focused on a lot of other things anyways. I mean, I don't really care too much about balance. I might start really caring about balance again when the quick play for raids comes out, because then I might have to like look into like doing some meta builds or something, and so that's when it's really gonna be like important maybe to look at some of the meta builds, maybe do some off meta builds, right? Like base my builds, like, you know, do the meta, like that's what I usually do, is like I look at the meta build, I kind of put it together, and then I kind of pick and choose what I want from it, you know? Like, oh, I don't like this, I'm changing it to that, or whatever, you know? So I don't really, that's the thing, is I don't really do a breakdown of the changes either in for the people are really worried about it. What's the worry that people have? Wonder how much damage this guy does. Not that much, actually. I'm kind of safe fighting these ghosts here. I'm okay with that. One semi-safe thing to do is light these torches around here, so I don't have to necessarily wonder about what's gonna happen. That's going to be super simplified, like fractal quick play, and really easy and people not understanding what's going on. I mean, that's bound to happen, right? Like, you're just kind of dragging people. That's the thing. That's kind of what I talked about with the quick play, is like, I think they're working on the wrong end of things. Like, they're just, you know, they're now causing the veteran players to drag the new players just along, because they're just like, yeah, jump into quick play, just do it, and just, you know, whatever, and we'll rush through the whole thing. That's exactly what's gonna happen, right? And then new players aren't gonna have any clue of what's like really happening, and that's exactly what's gonna happen. I'm not too worried about that though, because the alternative is that new players just don't play Fractal, or that new players just don't play that content. Because I think this is a little different than the Fractals. I think Fractals are easier to jump into for new players, because there is like a specific starting point, right? Which is tier 1, right? Like, there's a tiered system, there's a level system in there from 1 to 100, so they understand where they need to start, and they understand where the end goal, the end game is. When it comes to strikes and raids, they don't really know where the starting point is, right? You go to the aerodrome, there's doors everywhere. Nothing guides you to like, this is where you start, this is where you end, right? There's no like, okay, this is kind of, the fractals are a little bit easier in that sense. So, but with raiding, I can really see the issue of them jumping in there and just, you know, nothing is explained. There is, you know, you jump in, you do a few strikes, you do, or raid encounters, and you do a couple raids, and after that you know nothing. I think this is going to be very impactful on the game in a way, but it's also like that's the only way you're going to get people to play that, right? It's like the two alternatives are new players don't engage with that because there's no entry level to raid and raid encounters, and or you just drag them in, right? Like that's what they're trying to do. Obviously there is a better option as like a third option, which is actually teaching people raiding and actually having some structure to raiding and raid encounters, which I think is why they didn't choose that, because it's too much work. That is my opinion, in my opinion, why that ended up being that way, because that would take a lot of work on ArenaNet's part. They would have to really sit there and they would have to really say, okay, you know what? We're going to have to sit down. We're going to really have to figure out how we're going to structure all this to get people in there to play it, right? And so I think with the looking for group, they're kind of doing that. They're going to have some easy, medium, and then hard, like raids and raid encounters and stuff like that. So it might give a little bit of structure, but adding that quick play button is gonna like kind of defeat the purpose of all of that, because people are just gonna press that button and not care, right? And they're just gonna do that, and they're never gonna really dive deeper into harder content, really, like, because there's not gonna be any need to do that, you know. So people still are doing that one frag. Yeah, it's so weird. I'm like, whenever I do quick play, I'm the only one that grabs the second hammer still now, and I'm like, okay, whatever. At least we have two working, you know. 2 hammers is pretty decent. Just the fact that people still struggle with the bells. What bells? Glad they're gonna section off parts of raids into separate strikes. I think that's what they're doing. So getting my hot masteries unlocked will be super easy once raid. Is that they're gonna section off parts of raids into separate strikes? Is that what they're doing? I don't remember hearing that. I mean, I'm not saying they're not doing that, but I'm just, I didn't hear anything about that. Used on bells? Well, they're not used on bells. The hammer is used on chains, on locks. Are we talking about the same thing? You gong the hammer on bells? Those are not bells in the fractal. Are we talking about the cliffside? Those are not bells. They're not gongs. They're locks to chains. They're like, he's chained and you're breaking the chains. What? No, they're not. I'm gonna look at the I'm gonna see what the wiki calls them. Hold on.
Not a problem, but they're gonna cost more than the previous bunch. Are you trying to swindle me? Why is the price?
They're actually called seals.
Will be even more delicious. So plump
and the skill is you use are seal breakers.
It's cheese and meat. Cheesy meat.
Knee seals, chest seal, arm seals. They actually call them seals, which is like part of the... Hello, open this page, please. Yeah, they're seals. They're not gongs, though. They're not bells. None of those are bells. I am very serious right now. I don't understand where you got bells from. They don't even look like bells. That is not what bells or gongs look like.
I need some help over here.
No.
What happened to the explosion? I was told there'd be big booms.
I was told it'd be big boom. Stone bells, you break the seals on to me. No, they're like they're attached to the chains that keep the cliffside. That. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on, I don't even care. I'm just jumping into those because I need to look at them right now. Because I'm very confused right now because I've never in my life would have even thought of them as bells in any shape or form. Oh, I was recording for the video, you guys can tell. I was at the Guild Initiative building because I was recording very important stuff for the video. I'm going in right now because I need to see. They're not bells though. Like, they're not even gongs. Hold on. I've been playing Asura a lot, and Asura is I'm having some issues with my camera as playing Asura because the camera position is so different. Hold on, I'm jumping in there right now. I'm doing 6. It's fine. We can watch the cinematic too, because you can actually, when you watch the cinematic, you can actually see it, right? Oh, they're shackles. See, they're like attached to, these are seals on the shackles. See how they're shackles? They're like, see, he's shackled, and these shackles are attached to chains. Well, these aren't. But when you look up there, well, he's so far up there. They look. I don't know what kind of bell shade you're talking about though, because they don't look like bells at all to me. That's why I'm so like, kind of like flabbergasted, because I'm like, they don't look like bells at all to me.
If those zealots are trying to kill you, perhaps this behemoth can't be all bad. Quick,
Oh, I'm not doing
locate a
quick
method
play.
to liberate
Ooh
them.
boy. I'm gonna go up here real quick. See, I don't. Do they look like bells? I don't really look like bells to me. Oh, I guess I could see it, like, up close. I guess I see what you're talking about now. Okay. Because I get what you're saying, like, I see what you're saying. That's why I was like, I gotta get a closer look here. I can kind of see what you're talking about now. I can understand, like, if you don't get the full picture of them, if you don't look from, like, far away, you're just looking at close up, I could see why you think there would be bells. But, like, it's such a weird placement because there's a giant, like, inside of the bells. So what I'm trying to figure out is how you thought these bells were attached to the giant. Like, do you think they were just, like, kind of holding him in, like they were blocking him or something?
I need some help
Okay,
over here.
I get, yeah, I'm like, I'm like, that's not,
I almost didn't recognize you.
that is so funny, though. That's really funny. Oh, look, I have a mug. It's a floaty mug, you guys. I feel like I'm playing like Skyrim.
Has
Has anyone seen Cars?
Yeah, well, it's like seals on the shackles is what they are, right? Like, that's really funny, though, that you say the bells. I was just really confused by that, because you were just like, the bells. So you have to, like, yeah, the bells. And you're so, like, matter-of-fact about it. Yeah, the bells. I'm like, what bells? There's not a single bell in that entire fractal. Like, there's no bells anywhere. I don't know. I guess it was. I was always so fascinated by that giant too. Like I don't know. I just. That's funny though. That's really funny. Both gaslight. I know, and you were just like, the bells. Hello. I'm like, hello. I'm scared. Mom, can you come pick me up? I'm scared.
Some of those coals nice and slow.
I love how, like, when you carry something, look, it's a floaty sword.
This is my job.
First person is
Mayor
really
of
strange in this
Meatstoberfest,
game.
and I have to teach you right. Mayor, we never
Oh my god, it's a floaty leg. Floaty meat leg. You have this. Yes. Yes. Oh, you have a meat rack right here. Why do I need to serve you food?
Hail, citizen.
And you're standing right here.
Has anyone seen Cars? I can't stop thinking about those pickled eggs. She's been gone too long.
Yeah, I wish they had a better first person. I wish we could actually see, like, our weapons in first person. And see our feet in first person or something. At least our weapons would be kind of nice. I wish they would improve on that. But, you know, whatever. Whatever. You have more food.
I need some
Inebriated.
help
Can I
over
do
here.
anything with these guys? Okay.
The Legion call. Yeah.
You can talk to these guys. And you fight MOBAs, especially during. Yeah, oh, I know. It gets really weird because there's just like all these AoEs happening. It wasn't designed that way, but it would just be kind of cool for, like, you know, purposes of this kind of, you know. Here, we're just gonna talk to you. Yeah.
I fought in the last war against
I can talk to all these guys then.
my entire war
All
battle.
the inebriated. Look at all these inebriated soldiers. Oh, apparently these guys you can just fight. Awesome. I don't want to eat.
This is what I live for. I yield.
He walked into his own healing. That's really funny.
Let me get
Are these all okay? These are all like fighting. If the dragon decides to push you in his mouth,
I yield.
Shut up. Come over here and make me stupid.
yeah, I mean it's definitely better to like play like this 100%. I think.
Hope you enjoy your fleeting moment at the top.
Just be nice to have options.
Victory at any cost.
Poison tongue. Wow, I didn't even
I need
at
some
all
help over
get
here.
to partake in that. I ate that. I drank that. I don't know why.
Spirits are sore
You're
something.
picking the mouse thing out of fight for like 8 seconds. That's kind of cool. Kind of like that. I can't wait until Guild Wars 2 adds dragons. I still think, you know, so I was watching that documentary, which was really good. I mean, it was a cute little like 1 hour documentary. I really liked it. I really enjoyed that. But they had like a section in that documentary about like Krakatorg and stuff, and it really like, you know, I really wish they would have done more with it, like having an actual like open world like Krakatorg fight, or like, you know, because like all the times that we see Krakatorg, it's all in instance combat. It's all like in the story, right? Like we fight its head in the story. like in the Shiver Peaks, right? And then the actual the flight is in the story, and then after that we just kind of hang out on his body, but we don't actually like fight him, and that's something where I'm like, man, I really wish they would have found a way to make make some kind of combat possible, like fighting Kragator, Yeah, I know. It was really cool to see a bunch of the guys there. One thing that I found was really weird is that they use so much footage from Aurora Peachy. I'm not saying that it's bad or they shouldn't have done that, but it was just like in the documentary they had so much footage of hers. I'm like,
What do you see?
okay.
Ow!
Oh, these guys are helping me. Thanks. But yeah, it was cool that all the people were hanging out. For sure. For sure, for sure. The partner program in general has been very quiet. I mean, there's always like, there's always like conversations going on, stuff like that, but they haven't really done they haven't done any announcements for it. Like, the last one was about the documentary and how they kind of wanted us to like stream it and stuff, but I was like, I'm not popular enough. I'm like, if like Muckluck is streaming or something, then like everyone's gonna watch that anyways. I'm like, I can't really compete, but ever since then they've been very quiet. There hasn't really been like any announcements. I don't know. I would love to like collaborate with people and stuff. I've been trying to do that for years, but unfortunately I don't know if that'll ever happen. But hey, I got plenty of stuff to do anyways, so I'm not worried about content for my channel, I'll tell you that. There's so much to do. Can't hurt this thing. Like, I'm not doing any damage to it. It's really annoying. Oh my god.
Build that thing. Cut them down.
Ah. Oh.
Snuffed out.
Oh, right there. There's like one pack of damage. I think the 10 or 20 anniversary used old footage of Wooden Potatoes. Oh, really? Oh, gotcha. I guess I don't do that event often enough to know how that works.
I can't eat just one.
That's interesting.
At any cost.
Also a shame, like, has Wooden Potatoes done anything? Like, I haven't had time to watch anything. I there's like a movie, my customer, one of our regulars talked to me about like a movie that they want me to watch. And like, I haven't had time to even do that. What am I watching? What is that?
Can't wait. It's almost time for my
Well,
favorite
that was
holiday.
stupid. I don't
You're
even know
not
what I
talking
just
about
watched.
that again.
Beachtoberfest. Beef,
Like
pork,
some thirst
moa,
trap whatever
doliac,
video.
hot sauce, pickled eggs, blackened potatoes, sour cabbage, boiled beer.
I almost didn't recognize you without your rapid ship was troublemaking farm I'd stake you're gonna fight over those cat watchers.
Yeah, not really. He hasn't really done any. I mean, he hasn't obviously done any like real. He's just kind of been doing. Kind of been doing news stuff. Nothing. Nothing.
What happened to
I never watched any of his stuff. Like, I've heard of him, but I don't really know any of his stuff. So I guess there's no loss for me here. I guess good for me. It's so sad when you have people. There was a YouTuber that I used to watch. She was this like cute girl, and she used to do like, I think like, yeah, she used to do MMO news. And she used to be like into an MMO that I played. I don't even remember. I don't even remember which one or like what it was or something. But then she kind of swapped over to doing like news. And then I remember she had moved. And like after the move, she started like, oh, you know, she hadn't done any videos in a while because she's moved, right? And so she came back to doing videos, and I don't know what really made me want to watch her. But she then started doing like less and less videos, and as far as I know, I remember at some point she had like just kind of stopped making videos altogether. And it was kind of sad to see, because I remember like checking on her channel, and it was just like, you know, from going from like, you know, almost every day to having a video to like, you know, once a week to having like once a month to having a once every 2 months, and then like and then just stopped altogether. And I was like, man, I hate that. I hate this. There's a French-Italian girl I used to watch her Tomb Raider content. She just, oh really? It's so sad when you have like people, you know, that's why it's so important to like really support those people that you want to watch, and really like show them like, hey, you know, we want to watch your content, and you know, I don't know, like we care about your content and we want to watch it. Smash things. Does this break? Is there like a... Oh, you're rooted in place when you do it. Oh boy, that's rough.
Accepted.
Oh,
Bring anything else you find to me.
Yeah, yes, hammers. Got it. Anything else? I thought it was just hammers that we're collecting. It's so sad when you have people like disappear. I mean, you know, it's even like, you know, Chicken Noodle, like it's so sad to see Chicken like not do any. I get why. There's a lot of different reasons why he stopped, and obviously I probably know more than the average person just because we talk privately and stuff, you know, but I still miss like his streams and stuff. They were always super fun. You know, so but you know, whenever he's there, it's kind of nice to see him hanging out. But you know, Wooden Potatoes especially, like I used to love watching, not his streams. His streams were kind of really annoying because he has such a huge fan base that like anytime you watch his streams, you get all these annoying ass people in there, and then he's like just answering all these like people that are just like,
bring anything else you find.
I don't know, there's just, he has like, because of what he did, you know, and because of the respect that he commands, like you have these people that are just like obviously very jealous of what he does, and they go in there and they just like try to ruin the day by being like stupid, and that's just, you know, just in general very annoying. But his videos, oh my god, I used to watch his videos on repeat. Holy crap, like there were so many really cool videos that I used to watch of his. I used to watch his, before he got like super popular, right? He did like the Guild Wars 1 like challenge where he did like the solo run challenge going through all of Guild Wars. I remember watching that a few years ago, like rewatching it.
Bring anything else
Stuff like that, you know. Nobody isn't afraid to get into the weeds with his fans, so he can be trying. Yeah, and you know, he'll challenge that, right? Like, and he'll get kind of like, sometimes I don't like how pissy he gets with people, and I'm like, dude, it's the internet. Like, why do you get so pissy? You know, like the video that he did where he had to explain himself over the like controversy that happened, with him involved with like the PvP match and stuff like that, which you know, to me was very obvious, like people just trying to hate on him and just trying to be like shitty people because it's the fucking internet and they're all trolls and stuff like that. You know, that was just kind of shit to see. But it got to the point where like he wanted that fight. Like he wasn't trying to avoid it. He was like, nope, I'm gonna challenge this, and he made like multiple videos about it. I'm like, why are you feeding into the drama? Like I don't, it's not cool, you know. So well, with Teapot, from what I remember, and I don't know if this is true, but I remember people talking, because I didn't know much about Teapot. I had watched like a couple of his streams early on, and I remember way early on that he was just shit talking Guild Wars 2, right? Because let's be real, that's what's popular on the internet, is like the more shit talking you can do, the more bashing you can do, right? It's all about like creating this like mob of people that are just like, yeah, down with this and this person, right? And it's just like it's such a popular thing to do. And from what I remember, that's kind of what he used to do, was just kind of like shit talk ArenaNet and blah 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 blah. But then he became part of like the partner program, and it's like now you're an advocate for the game, so now you can't do that anymore because you're just gonna get in trouble with ArenaNet, and you know, they're kind of, I mean, I guess in a way paying you, not you know, directly in that sense, but you know, you're making money off of this partnership kind of thing. So he kind of chilled. From what I understand, that's what happened. Again, I don't really have an opinion on all of that. I don't really care what people do. I've been so focused on my own stuff that I don't care what other people do anymore. I used to give a shit so much about like what different content creators would do what and blah. And I'm like, dude, I don't have time for this. It's like I barely have time to make content on my own channel. I don't care. I don't care. I guess that's one part that's nice about being one of the smaller content creators, because I don't have that. I don't have that pressure of, I guess, the like image I have to uphold. There's no more, oh, there's no more hammers. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave this area now because we're done with the hammers. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's just that's kind of nice to have, to not have to worry about like constant drama, like, you know, opening a stream and having to, like, I don't like to be fake either, right? Like I think there's certain content creators out there that have to put on a personality, right? Because they have such a big, they have this like, people have this image of them, of being these happy-go-lucky people. And so when you go into the stream and you're not the happy-go-lucky person that they know, it turns them off and it makes them not want to watch you anymore, right? And it's just kind of like, I had that at some point, right? Like I had, there's one specific person a few years ago that I remember actually that she was a very big follower of the channel. She was always here. She was always like hanging out. And then there was like, it was right around like End of Dragons when a lot of people were getting frustrated with ArenaNet, myself included. I remember that I was kind of like, I had like a few streams. There was like a good month where I was streaming, where I was kind of like constantly kind of bashing on ArenaNet, okay? Where I was just kind of like, man, I don't like what they're, because I didn't like what they were doing, right? And that's who I am, right? I'm not one to put on a mask and be like, oh, you know, it's the greatest game ever, when like I'm sitting there and I'm sitting at a table with Kanak and I'm on a date, and that's the content that I'm giving by ArenaNet. Like that's what they're giving me. Like it just, that, I remember it was right around that time, it was driving me fucking crazy, right? And so I was voicing that, you know, and that same person, they were like, this woman that was like following my channel, she was like, she would come in, she's like, oh my god, you're bitching again. And I'm like, yeah, well, because I don't like the stuff that ArenaNet is putting out, and I'm gonna voice my opinion about it, you know? And then I remember the very last time she was in the stream, she was like, I'm getting a migraine, I'm heading out. And then she never came back again, right? And it's just kind of like, you know, she probably like unfollowed, and she probably made sure to like unsubscribe on YouTube or whatever, right? And like and never came back. And it's like, you know, whatever, I don't care. People can do what they want, but it's like, you can't expect me to like you know, I have shit going on in my own life, which was probably at the time affecting me too. So I was probably not in the best state of mind, and maybe I shouldn't have been streaming. But like, this is what it is. All you can turn it off if you don't like what I'm saying, you know, and you can just like, you know, but then just, I don't know, just kind of the way that she had put it was like that I was like this super negative person all the time, and that I was just like really miserable, and I was causing her migraines with that, and it was just kind of like, okay, cool. I don't know what to tell you. I always be on Teapot's side a little bit because of my old account. He actually singled me out in the chat because I was complaining about needing help with Triple Trouble Worm and nobody ever helping or explaining set aside what he was doing. And did Triple Trouble stream. Oh, that's kind of cool. I love that. That's really cool. I love when people do that. That's really cool. But I just like Teapot's friends. Yeah, I know. Like, he has these hardcore fans that will just, they would jump off of a bridge for the guy, right? And it's like, dude, I just, you know, most of you guys probably don't even know him personally and stuff, so I don't know, but it is what it is. People are gonna be people, and like, and you guys know how my videos and my streams have always been. I'm always down for discussion because I'm not a person that's kind of set in my ways. Like, if you present evidence to me of something and like, hey, it should be this way, it should be that way, or blah 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 blah, and it makes sense to me, guess what? I'm gonna be the first one to say, you know what? You're right. You're right, you know. And oh god, no, none of that, please. Excuse me, we're leaving. Ah! So I think that's something that I have over other people, is like, I don't have that streamer personality where I go in and I'm always happy-go-lucky and I laugh at everything. I was just talking about that the other day. I was watching this girl, and again, nothing against her. Obviously, she's doing really well for herself. She has a huge following, and she came from WoW. I mean, a lot of people have been doing this, right? But she came from WoW, and she started playing Guild Wars 2, and we're just streamer personality. She just has a full-on streamer personality where everything someone says is really, really funny. The whole time. It's like, it's not that funny. Please stop laughing. You know, at everything. I'm like, I can't. It just drives me crazy when people are like that. I'm like, just please. It's like, you know, but people fall for that, right? Because it's like, I'm sure the people that are watching her are probably all very young, and you know, she, like, being WoW, like, there's probably a lot of young people watching her and stuff like that. Like, let's be real, the older you get, the less you're inclined to watch like content creators and stuff like that. But it's just like that streamer personality is like, I don't have it in me. I can't do it. I can't laugh at like stupid shit all the, like, if it's not funny to me, I'm not gonna laugh about it, you know? Nike, that dude's a fucking asshole. I've heard, I don't think I've ever seen any of his streams, but I've heard about him many times. Yeah, not afraid to call one out Nike, that dude's a fucking ass. I like Peachy. Peachy's great because the thing is with Peachy, she is not like that all the time. I've watched many of Peachy's streams, okay? I really have. And Peachy's one of those people that, yes, she's like a happy-go-lucky person, and she is very emotional, right? Like, in the documentary, we see her cry, right? Like, you watch her, like, cry and whatever, right? But it's genuine with her, right? And, like, she's, like, it's not a fake personality she puts on, because there's been many streams that I watched where she wasn't, like, happy-go-lucky. where she was just kind of like, well, this really freaking sucks and I don't want to deal with this. And she's not like just like it's like, oh my god, please stop. I cannot. It just, I can't. I can't. I don't know how people do it. I swear. Nothing against those people, because obviously they're popular and obviously they know what they're doing, right? For them it's an art, you know, it's a way to draw in, to get the cloud, to get the people watching and stuff like that. But oh goddamn. But yeah, I know nothing about Nike. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. But I know nothing about his content. Someone is destroying these. Is someone destroying the whole? I only see one left. Yeah, someone is going through and destroying them, which I guess is good. Is there? It says 6. It says 5 out of 7. Oh, there's one down here that I didn't see. Okay, I'm gonna hope that can. Seems to be a female only thing when they giggle like that. Yeah, but like the male equivalent is like the, hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, oh my god, oh wow, oh my god, whoa, duh. That's the male equivalent. That. And I cannot do that either. That like way too high energy, that like you need to drink less Monster energy, like that. Also, it's the equivalent of the women giggling and having their tits out. Like, it's just not, I can't. I don't know what's appealing about that. It's just, ah. Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Ninja used to be like that. I just.
Good work. Don't let up now.
So rough.
And the tunnels they
I can't do it. I can't. I know if I were to be that way, I would get way more popular. I would get way more people watching my content. There'd be people like subscribing left and right if I was like, yeah, what's up, guys? Okay, today we got some really cool stuff today for you guys. All right, so listen up. Like, if I was like that, I would probably have 10 times the amount of subscribers on my channel. I cannot. That is not my personality. I'm not that fake of a person. I just can't. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't. For those people that can keep that up, though, I'm actually impressed with how some people can keep that up. Like, I know a person like that in real life. She's like the equivalent of what those same streaming girls are in like real life. She is one of my coworkers, and man, she is super popular. People love her. She has a huge following. But oh my god, I'm like, I literally sometimes I like just like look at her and I think to myself like, you can't always be like this. This can't be your personality. But she is like that all the at least at work. You know, I don't know how she is privately, but at work she's always this like happy-go-lucky. Yeah. And then you'd lose like the legit people like me. I mean, I get, yeah, you're right. But it's just, you know, and I guess that's one problem with my channel and with my content, that I've always stuck to my guns and I've never done the stuff that other people do. Like, there's been things that I've like experimented on, specifically when it comes to content, not personality wise, but content wise. There's been experimental content. This year alone, I did a video that I like usually don't do. I don't do state of the game, right? Like, I don't do those videos. Like, I started doing news videos because I feel like there's certain opinions that I have about some stuff that is insightful. You know, and I've been doing that for a few years now, but the thing is that like when it comes to like, you know, there was a post that I saw on Reddit where someone said, and it makes me so sad, It makes me so sad about the state of the Guild Wars 2 community, and specifically how the Guild Wars 2 community consumes content created by other people, right? So the post was about, oh, all the content on YouTube is all the same. And it's all about, it was literally the stuff that I've been reiterating for a long time now. It's like, oh yeah, you know, it's just gold farming guides and like state of the game in 2025 and like how to equip a character and the best build and the best class and the blah 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 blah, right? Like all of those. And let's be real, that is 95% of the Guild Wars content because that is all people consume of the content. But there are like 5% of content creators that are going out of their way to make different things, and they create other things, and they're not getting, and it's kind of really sad because that poster was just kind of like that they had never seen it, and they're like, why is the state like that? And I'm like, well, it's a rotating door, right? Like it's a revolving thing, right? Because people only make that content because that's the only content that's being consumed by people, right? And people aren't looking for the other content because that's the only content that's being made. So it's this like revolving thing, right? Like each point is the cause of the other point. And so it kind of just goes like, you know, they make more of that content because that's what people are watching. And so more people are watching that content because that's all that's being made. And so, you know, it's really like there needs to be a major shift in things, right? And like one of the biggest things, right? Like in that same post, they talked about lore, right? And they talked about lore, and I was very, very sad. There was a comment that I read in that thread which made me very, very sad. Yeah, an Ouroboros is self-fulfilling prophecy. Exactly that, checking her blood for drugs. There was a comment that said, well, everything for the lore has already been done. I don't know what else they could be doing. And I like kind of just sat there and I just contemplated that for a little bit. I read that, right? Like, and I was just kind of like, that comment doesn't even make sense, because ArenaNet has been releasing new content annually, like, let's say, like expansions annually, with every 3 months new content coming out, with new lore drops here and there, new things, new maps, new expanding on the universe, especially in the last 3 years. Especially in the last, not 3 years, in the last 3 years. In the last 3 years, ArenaNet has really been expanding on like the lore even more, right? Because they're now moving away from the Elder Dragons, and we're not stuck on the Elder Dragons all the time, which, you know, there was a certain point where we, like, I feel like season 3 we kind of had to hit the peak of like what the idea of Elder Dragon, you know, there wasn't more detail that we got about Elder Dragons. We just, from that point on, explored each of the Elder Dragons in their own right, but we didn't expand on the lore of what it meant to be an Elder Dragon, or like their history or whatever, right? Like Suwan, obviously we got more there, right? Like at the very end, we got like this huge thing, right? But like Kraukatoric, Jormag, Primordus, like they didn't really, there wasn't no expansion on like the idea of Elder Dragons. It was just kind of still the same that we had known. So there was a lore-wise, there was this little part that was kind of really stale in the middle. But like past that point, past that Elder Dragon story, I'm like, we have so many new things in the lore that have been happening, that have been revealed, that we've been thinking and talking about for many, many years. And it's been connecting the world at large in so many different ways, right? Because we like talk about the elder races and we're learning more about them, right? And now we're talking about seers, and we're actually learning about, like, you know, the seers that we saw in Guild Wars 1. We're actually learning who they are, like, you know, and there's so many different things. And it was so sad for me to see that, because I was just like, is that really what the veterans of Guild Wars are thinking? Like, oh, it's all been done. It's done. The Guild Wars lore is completely done. Guild Wars 2 lore is not. I'm like, is it really? I feel like with the mini expansions, it's really kickstarted something new when it comes to the lore. And this is where I'm going to go off the deep end for a second here and really kind of, and you guys can shout at me if I'm like way off or whatever, but to me, it's what I was talking about earlier, right? This happened right around the same time that Wooden Potatoes stopped making content, okay? Wooden Potatoes, one of, if not the biggest Guild Wars content creator, right? Like, obviously there's now others to kind of compare that, but at the time when he was making content, he was like at the very top, right? Like, I think he was really like one of the top content creators and stuff like that. And so he was really pushing this idea of lore and like, hey, how far can we take all of this? And here's theories, and here's this stuff, and here's this stuff about lore, right? And so we had all of these different things. And because he was so big, it was popular to talk about the lore. It was popular to watch his videos and talk about his videos and really take the lore of Guild Wars like really serious and do something very serious about it. Then he stops making content, okay? And all of a sudden, now because this popular guy stopped doing it, people aren't watching it. Like, people don't want Guild Wars lore content anymore because they're like, well, you know, the cool guy that was doing it isn't doing it anymore. And so, like, all of the people that are popular now, they're not doing Guild Wars lore content. So no one cares about Guild Wars lore content, right? It goes into the, like, what's the trend, right? And so people have moved away from having the Guild Wars lore be the trend because the cool popular guy that was doing it isn't doing that anymore. And so, like, now we move on because but I'm like, but nothing has changed. In fact, we have gotten more lore in the last 3 years than we got probably the last 5 years of the Elder Dragon saga, right? Like, there was, I feel like, more lore in the last 3 years than we got in 5 years there. Right, there were so many new things that we found out, so many new things that are just kind of like expanded on and stuff. And so, but because it's not popular to do that anymore, because it's the internet and you only can do the popular things and you can only watch the popular things, it kind of fell apart. And that's really sad to me. You know, that's really, really sad because I'm like, you know, it kind of shows how shallow sometimes the Guild Wars 2 community can be. Right? Because it's all about what's popular, right? And it's like, you know, the Guild Wars 2 community, they always talk about themselves as like, we're like the best thing since sliced bread, and we're like the best community and out of any MMO. But at the heart of it, they still behave like other MMO communities, where like, if you're not doing the popular thing, we don't care. Even if maybe what you're doing is interesting or different or could be something that could lead into something bigger, right? And like could be the popular thing to do. But because the popular people, the popular streamers and content creators aren't engaging with that type of content or with what you're doing, it's not cool. Like, we don't care. Stop it. Right? And like that, it's kind of a shame, in my opinion. Kind of a shame, you know? I had a dream where we get another cinematic combat scene with like a reincarnatory one that's set new dragonfly. It's on the new dragonfly skimmer, and we're tossing the warclaw spheres at Inquest. That's so weird. I had a dream. I have never dreamt about the like when I make videos, like editing videos and stuff like that. I literally the other night I had a video of, or I had a video. I had a dream about editing the video that I'm currently editing. And I was like, is that a sign? Because in the 5 years that I've been doing this, I've never dreamt about editing a video. I dream very vivid dreams. And I literally dreamt about like sitting here at this computer and editing the video. And like, it wasn't even footage that I had or whatever. So I know that it was a dream. So it was really strange. I don't follow the treasure on WP alone, but I can see the trend on YouTube in general. People enjoy content in waves. Usually it's algorithm or YouTube's fault. We miss out on a lot of content. I will sometimes wonder where YouTube has gone. Check their videos and they literally upload stuff for the past week, but I've never notified. Yeah, but I also feel like, you know, I don't rely on that. If I have a popular content creator that I'm watching, then guess what? On my days off, or on my time off, like when I come home from work, what is the first thing that I do? I go on their channel and check it out, right? You can't rely on the algorithm to carry you like that, right? So you have to, like, you know, that's how the algorithm works, is like the more people search for that person, for that channel, the more, you know, and engage with that channel, the more that channel gets like popped up. So I don't know. I'm subscribed to too many, so it's hard to just check on them on my. I suppose that's true, but I don't know. I guess it's different for me because I don't have that many people that I watch. I don't sit there and watch like 75,000 like different channels or whatever. I watch like 3-4 different channels, right, of like people, like content where I'm like, oh, I'm watching this stuff or I'm watching that stuff or whatever. So it's easier for me, I guess, you know. But what you said earlier, I don't want to put all the pressure on WP alone. I mean, I'm not putting the pressure. I'm putting it on the Guild Wars 2 community because I feel like the algorithm has moved away from lore content. The Guild Wars 2 algorithm has moved away from lore content because people aren't because Wooden Potatoes was bringing so much of that traffic, and he was changing that algorithm in so many ways because he sat there and he made those videos. That is what was rising to the top. But now that he doesn't make those videos anymore, the algorithm has changed. And like, that's why no one does lore content anymore, right? Because no one is watching it, right? And so the content creators don't want to make lore content because the lore content doesn't get them the views, right? And like, let's be real, 95% of content creators only care about getting the views. That is why they're making content. Many of them don't, like, yes, there's passion behind it, but many of them do it because they do it for a living, or they want to do it for a living, right? There's a lot of people that have actively voiced that they're only doing it because they're doing it for a living, or like they want to do it for a living. You know what I mean? And so they got to do what's popular. They can't step outside of that. They can't step outside of doing the popular things. So it becomes... It becomes this like Ouroboros, like you said, you know, where you know, only the popular stuff gets promoted because the content creators only want to do the popular stuff because they want to have the views on their popular stuff. Unfortunately, the beginning of the end was when him and Matt split. I gotta remove a lot, I guess, because the algorithm doesn't know what to do with me. Well, I think that's the problem that a lot of people are having, and that's why I only really subscribe to the channels that I actually actively watch, like where I'm like every week, yes, I want to watch this, you know. And so, but again, it's very different to me because I don't have time to watch that much content, you know. I mean, and when I do watch content, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, if I want to have something like in the background, I don't just like look for whatever. I usually have like Game Grumps compilations in the background because, you know, if I'm like gaming, I'm just gonna have that in the background or something, you know. But most times when I'm like sitting at the computer and I'm editing videos, I can't even have content in the back because I need to like focus and listen to like what I'm saying, and I like need to like cut and whatever, right? And so like I can't even watch anything when I'm creating content. So I don't even get that privilege, I guess, of doing that, you know. So, but you know, going back to what I was saying earlier, like that's one of the reasons why my channel hasn't really taken off, you know, because the algorithm, like, here's the thing. If I look for any subject that has remotely to do with what my video, look at that fire coming out of the water. Like if I look for anything that has remotely to do with what my videos are about, my videos are usually to the, like, close to the very top of that subject. But it's because no one looks for that content, because that's not popular to make content about. So it doesn't get discovered by people. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's how it is. And it's just kind of, it really kind of sucks that, you know, it's this weird spiral that, you know, my channel has been under, is just because it's just not popular to watch. I don't know, to watch those things. So starting over with stuff. Pathetic amount of it. Well, I'm fine with totally starting over with stuff. Progress being removed never bothered me. It's the journey that matters to me. Yeah, I think, and I think Guild Wars 2 is a game that really has that kind of mentality anyways, right? Where it's not really, because there's a lot, like, there is no gear treadmill, right? So the journey is the destination kind of thing. The journey is what it's all about. So Guild Wars 2 is a great game to do that with, you know what I mean?
Rely on iron, not false gods.
I'll come back to finish that part. I'm gonna try to do that. That's gonna be tough because there's like cannons shooting from everywhere. There's a few Guild Wars 2 streamers I've noticed who the whole point of the stream is they do that. They make an entirely new account and min-max the achievements. Wow. That seems like a lot of work. To what? What's the point though in doing that? Like doing the same achievements over and over again? I mean, is that... I don't know. It feels kind of weird to me, honestly. I don't know what the point of that would be. This is tough, you guys. See how fast you can get them done. Oh, like a speed run of it. Okay, interesting. Huh. So what's the cutoff? I mean, obviously they can't achieve every like... Is it like a race to, like, who can get to 10,000 first or something, like achievement points? I mean, it would be crazy for them to say, like, okay, we're speed running to 50,000 achievement points. Like, that's gonna take them years. You know what I mean? Like, is there like a specific goal that they have in mind with that? Like, is there like a specific... They're like, okay, well, we want to get these done. Like, we want to get core game achievements done. And so, like, they pull up Guild Wars 2 efficiency and they look at all the core game achievements or something? Like, is that what they're doing? To see how much profit was spending less and hoarding more. The cutoff is specific achievements, map completion, storyline, season stuff. I don't know. That seems kind of weird. I feel like there has to be, like, that's one of the reasons why I've been doing these challenge runs, is because there has to be like a specific goal that I try, you know, that I want to get to. Like with this one is to get to 80 with all the different rules and things that I've set for myself. God, I hate this guy so much. He does so much bleeding. I'm leaving. I can't win against him. Raj, get out of here, Raj. PvP world as well as negated. Interesting. Yeah, I heard Muckluck is doing a challenge run right now. I've seen multiple people talk about it. Where he's doing like a crafting only run, where he has to like craft all his armor or something, or weapons or something. He has to like go in and do that as he levels up, which, you know, I guess that's fine. I still think that the Guild Wars 2 core game, as it currently stands, is perhaps way too easy even for that. Right? That's why I've set the rules to this challenge run to such extremes, because I think it's such an easy game to play now. 30k is the usual cutoff these days because it's actually relatively easy to reach if you do all the story content. Yeah, if you do all the story content, I mean, with the way that like power creep has really happened, like you can get a ton of points in like season 2, right? Like season 2, season 3, like there's a lot of achievement points that you can get just by playing through the story. Okay, that doesn't do a lot of damage. Oh, that's why I didn't do that. Okay. I don't know if my mic picks up any of that AC blowing, but it was like blowing right on my feet. My feet were like frozen. But it's hot in the room, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay. Oh god, they got completely annihilated by that cannon. By that cannon, right? Like there's a cannon shooting at them. I can see it. Oh, the cultists are so tough. I don't want to deal with them. Run away. It's such a tough area. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff and done on this new account. I'm at 14k. I could easily get 6k for finishing up a lot of choosing the season and expansion section. Not to mention doing the daily still gives me 1080. Oh yeah, that's true too. It's so weird because like for the longest time I was like, oh, I'll never get to that point where I get 10,000 achievement points from dailies. And now that I've been there for like a year now, I'm so sad. I'm just like every time, like I'm gonna be honest, like there's been many days where I haven't even done my dailies. I know that I'm missing out on like Astral Acclaim and all that, but I'm just like, I don't care. I'm sad. So someone said, I'm gonna move this up here. Someone says, this storyline sucks farts through straws, man. Maybe they were just figuring out how to tell stories and figure it out once hot release. Living World season 1 to 2 is the same person. Living season 1 to 2 stories sucks so hard. Oh god. Sucks so hard, man. I'm trying it, but I'm debating dropping it forever. Thankfully, Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire story are awesome and make up for it. Season 1, maybe I could get. Season 2 though was fine. I think the season 2 story was fine. It wasn't really that like, oh my god, but it was definitely better than Core. Right? Like, I think there were... Oh, God. There were Trepidchet. Dude, the cultists are the worst. Because they can siphon health and they can summon minions. It's really bad. Season 1 is bigger, especially when you do it multiple times. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But even, like... I don't know. They seem to like they put it like this is like world ending. Dude, this cultist hanging out right here. Oh my god, why is there cultists everywhere? What is going on? Ooh. Ooh, I have a rifle now. That does a ton of damage. I'm totally okay with that. Oh, I'm so... Oh, it broke. Oh god. Oh god, I gotta get out of here. There's a cultist coming. Ah! I got what I came for. Leave me alone. Season 2 is great, especially as a Savari main. I mean, not even that. I just really like the idea of, like... Because Season 1 was great in introducing, like, some of these new characters, right? It was like Destiny's Edge 2.0. You know, eventually they became Dragon's Watch. And I really like... I mean, the parts with, like, Marjorie and stuff... and Casimir, I think those are great. There's a cool little storyline that they have going on. I like the weird friendship that like Bram and Rox have. I don't know, Timey, you know, there's a lot of like a lot of things to like. And it really feels like, specifically season 2, it feels like the world is really starting to move away from like the core world, and you can kind of really see like, oh, okay, people are like, the world is moving on, the world of Tyria is like moving on, you know, from this. And I don't know, so I don't know. It depends on, you know, if people are just like this person, for example, they're doing season 1, but then they know how great Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire story are, so it's like, why are you doing season 1 then right now? Right, so I kind of have a question about that. It's like, okay, are you doing it on a new character? And then, like, if you are, then, you know, and if you don't like the story, why even do it then at that point? You know what I mean? That's just kind of like, I don't know. After all the content is out now, it's great to see how the slow build up of Arena improving with the story. I know, it's really great. Really waiting for the story. You know, I'm trying to kind of contain myself a little bit, because the thing is that, you know, I've gotten bitten in the ass quite a bit at this point, by what ArenaNet has been doing, with these mini expansions, because they, all 3 of them started out really good. Even Secrets of the Obscure, yes, there was flaws, and yes, there was things that could have done better, but overall, I'd like to think that they did pretty good with it. And then they didn't right after that. So I'm trying to just kind of like, I don't know, not get too excited, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I do hate when T-Bot will talk about the story, good or bad, and then talk about how he hasn't played it in years. Not allowed to discuss the story if you haven't touched the story in years. What do you mean he hasn't played the story in years? Doesn't he play all the new content that comes out? Isn't that part of the story? Or do you mean like older story content and he'll talk about it? I mean, I haven't touched season 2, season 1. I mean, season 1, since they reintroduced it, I haven't played it. Season 2, I haven't played in years now. Season 2 has been a long time since I played it. Well, oh. I cannot do this because I will die. But I do love looking at that portal. It looks pretty cool. A pretty cool, unique design for a portal. The old video talk about like he played yesterday and say I haven't played in years. Some of your opinions can change. I guess it's true. I guess that's true. You know, I mean, I don't speak of the Guild Wars story that harshly anyways. I think a lot of people just like, they forget that this is not a single player story game. This is an MMO, and a lot of people like they take it as in like, oh my god, this does not compare to the story of you know, A Legend of Zelda or whatever, right? And it's just like, well, it's not a single player. If they had designed it as a single player, it's only about the story and like playing through the story like an open world single player game, I'm pretty sure the story would be a whole lot better. But they have like a lot of other things that are going on with it, all these different parts that have nothing to do with it, And so I always like the story. I've always been a fan of the story, and I understand that there are some story parts that are better than others. You know what? Trust me, I know that. I have made videos on that. I have, you know, my entire review of Secrets of the, or my entire synopsis of the initial story of Secrets of the Obscure, like, tells you right then and there. My review of Janthia Wilds tells you exactly how I feel about it. But in general, I've always loved the story, you know, so... but yeah, it probably, for me personally, would be also a good thing to maybe go back and play that story at some point. Like, play through the whole story again. Kind of, and the thing is that, you know, I always play through the story as it comes. But, like, it probably feels different playing through the story all in kind of, like, one go. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be playing through it in one go. It'll be multiple different streams where I'll be playing through the story, but it would probably be nice to do that again. So, just to kind of experience that, but... I don't mind the core story. The only thing I really don't like... Yeah, you know what? And I agree with you 100% on that. That's exactly where I'm at. I don't mind the core story at all. I understand where they're going with it. I understand that they were trying to leave a lot of things open-ended because they wanted to pick it up later on. And let's be real, many of the story of the branches of the things that they have left like open, they went back and worked on those, right? Like a lot of those things, they looked back and they, you know, we found out what the blue orb was all about. We found out what else? Like the White Mantle storyline, right? Which kind of like ended with us killing the Confessor and it was just like over, right? Like they obviously expanded on that. There was like so many little things that they kind of like took and they did something with it, right? Like and they kind of expanded. I know what they were trying to do with the core story. I enjoyed it, just for the fact that it was, you know, for the time, having everything voice acted was such a novelty, you know, especially compared to something like WoW, which is still one of the reasons why I don't like playing WoW, because nothing is really, or Final Fantasy 14 actually, because it just doesn't give me the immersion that I get from Guild Wars, right? Like going through a world, playing the game, and not having any... I can't immerse myself in a game where I don't hear people like talking, and then like any dialogue that I get is just like a wall of text, and then maybe once an hour I get a cinematic where like it's like a 3-minute cinematic of people having a conversation about whatever, and that's it, right? Like, you know, I don't know, but in overall I enjoy the core story. I like the core story. I just wish that the final instance, yeah, I agree, the final instance needs to be better. So, you know. But people will talk about hating that final Titan fight as if it's a new opinion. Yeah, you know, it's been beaten to death, and I agree. I'm like, I kind of gave up on it. ArenaNet has never acknowledged the Zaitan fight. I don't think they're putting any resources, as of right now, I don't think ArenaNet is putting any resources towards fixing anything that's related to the core game at all. And so I have no hope for that, you know. But when I hear talk about certain aspects of core story that I personally just played recently to know what I'm talking about, and they talk about it like they know hands down what they're talking about, but they say they haven't played in years. I mean, you know, do you know that they haven't played it in years? Do they all say they haven't played it in years? I mean, it sounds like this is just like a teapot thing, but there's so many enemies right there. I can't even partake in this event. If I could sneak around, I could probably... Can you actually get up there without using a mount? Oh, I think you can, right? Like up here? Oh, hello. Oh, there's a chest up here. Oh god, this guy is way higher level than I am. Goodbye. Okay. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I tried Final Fantasy 14, and I know it gets voice acting a bit more later on, but I just can't be bothered. It's just that. Well, it's that, and then they pad it out. You know, they pad that. Like, I don't. One thing that I don't understand, and one thing that kind of like now that we're talking about this, and it just like shot into my brain, as you can tell. But one thing that really pisses me off about the Guild Wars community is when they talk about how ArenaNet pads out the story with these random things, right? In Secrets of the Obscure, you had to close all these rifts, right? And it was just like da-da-da-da-da. And then in Janthia Wilds, you had to do events, or you had to do hearts, and right, they kind of continued that. And in Visions of Eternity, it was collections, right? Which I actually think is probably the best way to fill the story, by doing collections, because it takes you around the different maps, collecting different items. So I actually like that the way that they did it in Visions of Eternity. But people talk about it like it's the worst thing ever. And I'm like, have you played Final Fantasy 14? Because they literally have you do the most mundane things in the story. Like, they literally have, like, okay, guys, we're about to fight the Lord of, like, the Lord of Darkness, and we're about to venture into the castle, the castle of chaos and everything. But first, we have to make sandwiches because we need lunch. And then so they have you go around and collecting items, ingredients to make sandwiches. Like, that is legit how Final Fantasy 14 pads out the story. From what I have played, at least. And it's like, bro, really? People want to complain in Guild Wars 2 about how they pad out the story, and then that is what they have in Final Fantasy 14. I'm like, clearly people have not played Final Fantasy 14. I don't know if WoW does the same shit, but like, holy crap, does Final Fantasy 14 pad out the story with like the most garbage of quests. And it's literally like, okay, we have to go there. We need this one character. And it's like, okay, where is this character? Well, we don't know where this character is, but you know, his mom's niece, which makes him his cousin. His cousin knows a guy that was at a bar once where they saw him, and like da-da-da-da-da, and you like run around and you try to find these people, and you go like from map to map to map, and you go to all these locations, and it's just like, and then by the end of it, you just, like, find the guy, like, 10 feet from where you started the quest. Oh, yeah, I was here the whole time hanging out. Let's go. And it's like, oh, my God. Did I just really spend an hour looking for this random fucking guy? So that he could be in the story for about 5 minutes and, like, I don't know, like crank a lever, and just that's all he does in the story? It is literally insane. It's what how Final Fantasy 14 does it. Yeah, I tried finding voice acting. The people I'm talking about, yeah, they straight up say T-Bond like 2 others. It's like, yeah, that means when you do a story, it'll be faster because now you don't have to go to the Yeah, I agree. I think doing the collections, I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, another collection? I'm like, I liked it. I liked doing the collections. Like, the part of it that I didn't like was that the descriptions in some of the collections were kind of annoying, and then the first map, the Shipwreck Strand, had kind of like, you know, you had to find the different like grottos and stuff, and you had to go into different grottos, and that is super confusing because they have not figured out how to like I said, they didn't really identify the different like tunnels underwater, and that really drove me crazy. But other than that, I love the idea of doing collections instead of doing random shit. Like, I mean, Jesse Cox tells we're having great story, and then you see him gleeful about his favorite story about chasing this little corn cob dude around and doing fetch quests for him. Yeah, oh my god, it is the craziest thing. Like, people talk about how amazing the Final Fantasy 14 story is, and I've played it far into the second, very far into the second expansion, like halfway through the second expansion or something, and people are just, because you know, you play A Realm Reborn, right, and you play through all that, and they say, oh well, you know, A Realm Reborn story is whatever, and then you have this like big slog that brings you to Heavensward, right, and like that's the you know, like that slog, they always talk about how that's like really annoying, and it is, right? It is. Like the quests you do in there are just like very repetitive, and they're very just like I mentioned, it's like go here, 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 and you're just like going to all these places and you're meeting all these people, and the end, it doesn't even matter. Like it literally, in the end, if you cut all that out, you're not missing anything in the story, because all these characters are so unimportant, and all the dialogue that happens in between is so unimportant to the story. It's all just like, it's actual filler. Like it's literally filler to the point that if you leave that out of a review, you wouldn't miss anything in the story, right? And so once you get through all that and you go to Heavensward, I loved Heavensward. Heavensward felt really, really cool. The whole once you start going to like the land of the dragons, and you go up the like mountain and stuff, and you go to like the mountaintops and stuff, it kind of felt like a really like a cool journey. Like it almost felt like, because you had like 3-4 other characters with you in the story, and they kind of like do pit stops on the way, and then they have you do like little side quests on the way, and doing this and that, and like kind of like learning about the people around. And it felt like you were exploring like a world that those people had never seen before, and you're kind of just like trying to find your way in the world. It felt very much like Heart of Thorns did when that first came out. It was like, you know, you had to do the journey through the jungle, and like you had to kind of figure out your way, and you had to kind of figure out like, you know what the end goal is of like, oh, you want to meet these dragons, or you want to defeat these dragons, or whatever. I don't remember, it's been years now, but you know, and you go through it and stuff, and that felt good. But then again, you know, they have all these like post-expansion patches that they do with like their own separate storylines, and those storylines are just so boring. All these quests are so boring, and then they just like they have this quest line just so that you can get into this like new dungeon, right? And it's like, oh, okay, you have to do the quest to go into the dungeon, but it's like the most boring of quests, and it's like, oh my god, and I did all this just so I can queue up for another dungeon now? Like, I already have 75 dungeons. Like, this is not adding anything to the story experience of it, you know? And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And you do that 3-4 times, and then you go into the next expansion. And like I said, I got into the second expansion, and I sat there and I was like, okay, so I really liked Heavensward, right? I love the music, I love the environments, I love the characters, the character development, the story overall was like really good. I really enjoyed it, right? And so I went into the second one, and God knows I can't ever remember. It's like Blood something. I can't remember what the name of the second one is. And I go in it, and I'm like, okay, I'm not a fan of like Asian themed stuff. You know, it's not my cup of tea, but I get it, right? Like, it's a huge appeal. But they tried to do the same thing of like having you journey through these maps, and having you journey alongside these characters who don't truly journey alongside you, right? It's like you go from here, and then you meet the characters here, and then you do a couple of quests, and then you go back to them, and then you meet them at the next hub, and it's like these mobile quest hubs through the maps, which is fine. I you know, whatever. But it's like Heavensward didn't last that long, but like, they really lost me halfway through that second expansion, because you sit there and you're doing that for hours, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I do not want to go from point A to point B, and because an NPC is telling me that we need to go there, and then we go there and we have to do like these mundane, weird fucking quests that just are stupid, and we get a little bit of dialogue on like, oh, we found the emblem of the people, we'll take that. I'm like, I spent an hour so I could get the stupid fucking emblem. In Guild Wars 2, I go and I find the emblem, and it's a 5-minute walk from one side of the map to the other side of the map just to collect this emblem. Great, whatever, done. I got it. Let's move on with the story. But they make it like that's the main part of the story. The main meat of the story is the like the mundane filler that's in between. That is what takes up most of the time. If you condensed all of the important parts of the story of Final Fantasy XIV together, right, the like hundreds of hours of content that they have, it probably would only amount to about like 20 hours of actual content. And that to me is just like, no, I'm good. Stormblood, that's the one, thank you. You know, and like people praising Final Fantasy XIV for its story, like overall, yes, I love the world of it, and I love the characters, and I love the races, and I love the music, and I love the classes, and I love the animations, and there's a lot to love about the game. But when it comes to the story, it pales in comparison to Guild Wars 2. Like, it pales in the pacing, in the execution of it, and like the way that people complain about Guild Wars 2's story. I'm like, clearly you people haven't played other MMOs, because other MMOs have it way rougher when you're only talking about the story. I love Yoshi P though. He hinted at a Realm Reborn 3.0 coming, where the whole intro prologue finally is going to change again, and I'm all for it. I love that. I mean, I think that's great. I think games should do that all the time, especially MMOs. You know, the prime example of it is Guild Wars 2, right? If we look at any game that needs it, look at Guild Wars 2. You can just see it right in Guild Wars 2. The core game really desperately needs an update, and it's so far behind all the current content of the game. And ArenaNet refuses to acknowledge that it even exists, and it's to the detriment of not just them, but also the player base and the whole experience. Like, everyone involved, I think. I think that it's not wasted to put that in there. I've really heard raving reviews for Stormblood, honestly. Mostly Heavensward and the other one after. Or even Guild Wars you fight enemies. Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to the expansions, like I said, they lost me through Stormblood. I liked some of the characters, and there was some cool story, but it's really to get like a little bit of story done in any shape. Oh my god, Jesus, they just blew up the whole saw with the catapult. There's a lot to love about Stormblood, right? Like, like I said, the characters and the story overall. But it's such a slog to like even get. Like, it takes you an hour to 2 hours to get from one story step to the next story step where like actually something happens, and it's like I'm not made of time. Like, there was a time where I was like, I'm pushing through this. This is free to play. I'm not paying a subscription. There's no rush to go through this. I have no, like, I can just take my time with it. And there was literally, oh my god, we gotta get to safety. We're gonna die. There was a time where I was like, you know what? I'm really gonna push through this. I'm really gonna push through this content, and I'm really gonna do it. And it got to the point where, like, I would log in, and I would do as much as I could. And like I said, I would do, like, an hour, and I would get, like, a story step done. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I did, like, a whole story step and whatever, and I'd log off because I'm like, well, you know, whatever. That saw blade is not even... That is, like, wobbly as fuck. That's scary. How do they get any straight lines done on there? It got shorter and shorter. It got to the point where I would do like one part of one of the quests, where it's like, oh, go to this location. So I'd like log in, and I'd walk to that location. It'd take me like 10 minutes to get there, and then they're like, okay, defeat 20 of these guys in the area, and I'd be like, no, I'm not. Exit, boop, out. And eventually I stopped. I'm like, why am I forcing myself? I'm not having a good time. I'm not. And I wanted to love it. I wanted to love it so bad. I really wanted to love it. I was like, maybe this'll be it. Maybe if I go in there and I just like really love it, maybe Guild Wars 2 won't be it anymore. Maybe but I just can't. I just cannot. If you fight enemies for the emblem, or when you get the emblem, enemies fight you, and find there's lack of combat or intense moments where it matters. Well, it's that, and it's also like, I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. It's weird how they prefer playing all the single player Final Fantasy. Yeah, I single player Final Fantasies probably do a much better time. I don't know how Final Fantasy 11 is. A Final Fantasy MMO based in the world of Ivalice or Final Fantasy 9 would be up my alley. Or whenever I play, it would be short 20-minute bursts, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. I'll lose and that's exactly it, right? Like I don't mind going into Guild Wars 2, and like even if I'm playing through the story, like I had to play through the story again, the Visions of Eternity story, to do the synopsis of it, right? Like I had to take another character and play through the story and like do all of, not, I actually took the same character. No, I took a different character. I took my Revenant through it, right? And so like I played through the whole story again, and like, did I have a super great time? I'm like, I wasn't like, oh my god, because I just played it like a week prior. I just played the exact same story. So it was just kind of like, you know, I gotta do it for the content. Like, I want to make the content. But it wasn't to the point where I was like seriously contemplating my life. And I feel like that every time I play Final Fantasy 14. I contemplate my life. I literally sit there and I'm like, I could be drowning in the ocean and I'd probably have a better time doing it. Like, it's fucking weird. It's a bomb. What is this guy doing? Can I repair that? So I stopped playing ESO. But ESO is a little bit different because I actually enjoy the quests in ESO. I enjoy like the characters, and I like going through the quests, right? Like there's something really intriguing about the like quests and like how there's voice acting, and like each area has like their own little lore to it. Like that was like the one thing that I really failed to see in like Final Fantasy 14 was like I didn't really see how like each area mattered. Like it didn't. Okay, why was I kicked out of the sniper? Why does it keep doing that? Internet, fix your game, dude. Oh, I can shoot them, but when I shoot the trebuchet, I get kicked out. Nope, didn't happen that time, but I also can't hit it. Shoot it! Boom. Shoot it! Shoot it! Shoot it! That guy right there. Aha! That guy. Boom. Can I shoot this trebuchet? I hit the person in front of the trebuchet. That's okay. Dead. No, I don't think I can hit the trebuchets. It's unfortunate. I mean, unless I do like... Oh. Okay. Okay, whatever. I'm leaving. I'll get into yet again next year when the new thing they announced gets put in. Yeah, I really need to play more ESO too. I need to get in there. The combat really turns me off, you know? It's so I wish the combat was better. If the combat was better, man, I'd be playing ESO all the time. But the combat is so boring. So boring to me. Maybe I just haven't found a build that I really like yet. I'm also not a fan of the classes in general. Like, that's kind of my thing. I don't know. They tried to do, like, something different with the classes, you know, which is fine. I get it, you know, but it also feels like, I don't know, a sorcerer doesn't really feel like a sorcerer to me. Because you have to, like... I hate how they, like... separated the weapon skills from the actual class skills, because a sorcerer doesn't really feel like a sorcerer. in my opinion, because like all the actual like sorcery skills are like on the like elemental staff or whatever that's called, and it's like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Some of the stuff they do. Really feel like ESO is similar. Oh yeah, it's very similar to Guild Wars 2, and it's one of the reasons why I really like it. I think there's certain things that I really, really like. Stick barrel. Hiya. He took the stick. Look at him. Look at him. He's holding a stick. I don't know what that means. This is to take out hostile skelk around the mill. Help train young skelk. Order young skelk to assist around the... Here, can you... Okay, can I... If I throw this at that, are you gonna attack it? Oh, you can play fetch with them. I get it. Okay. That's kind of cute. It's been a while since I've done this. Help! Oh, we're so done. This run is over. Yep. This run is over. Oh boy. Alright, I want to try Sylvari anyways. Kill me. God damn. I always get to like around, what is it, 20? And then I die? Like 21, 20? That was 19. I wasn't a fan of the char area anyways. I'm gonna try to do Sylvari. Canuck looking motherfucker.
I am Sylvari. 25 years ago.
So I find it fascinating when people say ESO is boring compared to Guild Wars 2. It's not really boring to me. No, it's just I just have issues with the combat. It's not really boring to me because I find how like the quests are very engaging, and I think the quests are very interesting in a lot of ways. They're not just like regular fetch quests. There's some interesting things that they do with them, you know? So to me, it's honestly, I have some issues with the way that they have the classes set up. And the weapons, and then the combat in general. A little bit. Like, there's certain things there. But I've said about SWTOR and you were confused by that, so maybe I was way differently, I think. SWTOR to me, the story is fine. I just, it feels like 95% of the conversation, like that's the thing, I feel like that's very different. The difference for me between SWTOR and ESO is like, SWTOR has like these weird conversations that all kind of feel the same way. Like, a lot of the conversations all kind of feel very samey, and it makes the quests all feel kind of samey. Like you can, like when you pick up a quest, you can already predict how it's gonna go. But like in ESO, they kind of have really interesting quests where you go in and like the storylines and stuff like that. And like I said, I like the way that it's all kind of cooked into all of the things. I just think that with like SWTOR, it's like the same thing every time. Like you go into an area and you know, you have quests in that area and you got to go through and you got to like, you know, fight the boss of like da-da-da. You go in there and you got to, I don't know, it all feels kind of like very samey to me. Maybe it has to do with like the combat or something about, I don't know. There's just something about it. I have not played far enough. I think I played a little bit into like the first expansion unknowingly. Like I had like finished the story with one of my characters, and then I jumped into like, I just kept going with the story, and I think at some point I realized, I'm like, wait, this isn't like course, like this isn't like regular, this is like new stuff. Like we're talking about like characters that I don't think ever existed in the game before, so I don't know. Easiest way to beat this is to grab a plank. Well, I could have avoided the death, couldn't I? The story in those is fucking. Maybe I need to like play through that. Maybe I need to play through SWTOR and like get to the point where I really enjoy the story, like really get into the story. Oh, I need to unequip my. I didn't do all that. I didn't do all the things, you guys. Invalid run. Invalid run, you guys. Delete it all. Restart. I did about 3 seconds with my armor on. I defeated one enemy with my armor on. Yo, Wintari, how's it going, bro?
And fully, and waste nothing. Each day is
I love the butterfly effect. I wish we would have seen more of that in like Visions of Eternity. There could have been some areas that had like these cool butterflies and the greenish flow of things.
I don't know. I've never felt anything like this.
Nothing ever gives you any power, just dodge.
Hounds are an aspect of the point. I know it looks grim, but you must
Just dodge forehead.
The monster is exhaling its poison. Find cover quickly.
No, the bridge is kaput.
Cannot reach the enemy in a sense within the dream.
Fear not, my lady. I can fix the bridge.
They fell down. Over here, friend. Wait, isn't there a person there?
I'll
Am
get
I?
this bridge reformed with the
Oh, they were the other way.
utmost haste.
I love that color combo of the red and blue. That looks really cool.
It is time.
Hmm.
The poison is at its strongest.
Yeah, I do like that a lot, actually. It's really good. Or it is a meme. I love boosting to 80 with tomes in the starting instances and one-shotting the boss. It's nice. I've done it a couple times myself.
Wait, something's happening. I feel the pale tree of
Don't
life just
see. That's the problem that they just attack these hounds. You don't attack the hounds. You wait until
be ready for anything.
the actual pop-up starts. There we go. Now you attack the hound.
Trust your instincts. Hold nothing back. Victory is a breath away.
Yeah, doing it. Brothers imply to Guild Wars 2. Well, but that's the thing. You shouldn't do that. I think they. I just feel like also the way that Guild Wars 2 presents itself right off the bat is very different to any other MMO, right? And I think it's a good thing. And I don't want people to take what they have learned in other MMOs and apply it here, ever.
The poison has taken form. Quickly, destroy it while we can.
So, but I think it goes to show that I think the problem is that many gamers are just not patient people. Like, they're just like, gotta go in, gotta level up, get to level 80, gotta get all the things done. It's like, bro, just take a chill pill. You don't need to be 80 by tomorrow. It'll be fine. Ah. Can't see anything. Still love the model. Oh my god, I'm dying. I'm dying in the tutorial area.
Destroy the nightmare.
Having a bad time. Ah!
I
know Guild Wars is quite different, but it does have some similarities to games in general. But I swear I've noticed most of the time I've never played any other game before. That's crazy. I don't know. I mean, I don't think anyone that hasn't played a game before would play Guild. I mean, that would be kind of weird.
The dream is safe.
Guild Wars or games are out there so much. Oh, hold on, I gotta respond to this.
Where am I? I was fighting a great evil. Are we safe?
I'm naked. I'm a naked man. I'm a naked straw man. That's what I look like. Look, I'm made out of straw. Ah! I don't know why that character was. Alright, so maybe I think this is the first time that we've been doing a Sylvari test of this run. With the sword. This is not it's crazy the amount of experience you get now, because when you finish the instance, you do not go to level 2 anymore. With this in, and from the adventurer's book thing, you immediately go to level 3. You immediately get boosted to level 3. It is obscene. The downstate of Guilders 2 is literally from COD and Borderlands, and it has admitted to that. Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of aspects that are from other games. I feel like that's any game, though. There's barely ever gonna be a game that you're gonna find that has like original ideas about anything. It's either immediately like directly copied from a game, or it's inspired by something from a different game, which is fine, you know. I think Guild Wars 2, more than other MMOs, at least puts on like a twist in a lot of ways. I love how like the reflection doesn't line up with what we're seeing. You see what I'm saying? You can see the leaf there. I think that's inside of the house, but you can't see the tree reflecting, and you can't see the house reflecting. And all you see is that leaf right here. You see that leaf reflected in the water. That's so weird, isn't it? Oh, I've been gaming since I can remember. Oh my god, I can't even tell you. I've been gaming for a long time. My very first game that I ever finished was A Link to the Past. That I ever like beat the final boss in. Like, and then it was obviously the first game that I also 100% it, which is not hard to do in that game, anyways. But you know, I was very young when I first started playing that. I don't know what my very first game was, but I know that the first console that I ever played was the Sega Genesis, which, you know, in Europe was called Sega Mega Drive, but it was the same thing. You know, it's just the Europeans want to be different. So, or maybe the Americans wanted to be different. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I remember that. I'm guessing like something like Sonic must have been my very first video game that I ever played. Leather bag, perfect. I need 3 of those. All right, so we got a little bit of storage space. Mostly fight Risen Nightmare Court. Piece of cake, yeah. I mean, hopefully it's a piece of cake. Find people fumble around so much. I don't know. I think it's the idea that it just plays so different to other MMOs. I mean, if all you've ever played, like again here, you can't see any of the vines reflected. None of the leaves are reflected. The house isn't reflected. Like, none of this is reflected in the water. It's so cool to see. I don't know. I don't know why that fascinates me, but yeah, if all you've ever played is like, wow, you know, Guild Wars 2 is so different. That's a very different game, I tell you. because it's like the first thing that like WoW does is like introduces quests to you. Yep, you gotta go to the person that has an like a yellow exclamation point or whatever they are. You gotta go talk to them, and they're gonna lead you around, and then you gotta keep doing that for the rest of eternity until you're max level, and then from there you do other things, right? And it's like Guild Wars 2 doesn't have that at all. They have voice acting of someone saying, "Hey, come over here." What the hell? The fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like, it's so different. First ever game I played was with my cousin. We took turns beat original Mega Man. Original Mega Man is tough, man. I'm really bad. The original like any Mega Man, actually. I'm really bad at Mega Man. Like, I'm really bad at it. I've tried it so many times that I don't know what it is. It's not for me, I guess. I'm really bad at it. Some vines growing here. Can't understand playing only one game almost your entire life. Dude, there's people that have played WoW their entire lives, and it's crazy to me that, like, I saw a post about New World the other day, and I don't know if other people have saw this as well, but they were talking about, like, it was like in the Reddit, in the MMO subreddit or whatever, and it was just a conversation of,
the cave ahead is
oh man, you know, it's really sinking in that like this game's gonna close, and like I don't know what to do after this, right? And like the top comment on it was like, yeah, I agree, guess it's back to WoW. I'm like, like, you're not gonna explore any other options? You're gonna go back to WoW? Like, really? I mean, I don't know. The last time I played WoW was during Legion, and Legion was a really great expansion, and I had a really good time with it. But I feel like in this day and age, I don't know how the newer expansions are, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But like in this day and age, it really feels like WoW is pretty held back compared to other MMOs or other games.
Stay close. They won't ignore our trespass here.
I like Murder. I played so much shit over there. Oh yeah, I like different games too. I gotta play different games. I can't. There's times where like I need to take a break from Guild Wars. Like there's times like even when I'm doing content, there's times when I only play Guild Wars to make videos, but other than that, I don't play it. Like, it literally is like that. And it happens all the time. And that's not a bad thing. It's not saying that I don't like the game. You know? Like, it's just, I don't want to play it. I just don't. I don't want to play it, and I'm good. Like, I'm like, I want to play other stuff. But I still want to make content. Why am I leaving? There's another quest happening. Or another... Talking about quests too much. I'm sure I suck now for sure, but I love me some Mega Boy. Reminds me of Osmongold, who refused to give Ghost to a chance and reviewed on his channel as reasonings are bullshit. You know, I'm sorry, like, I can't watch that guy. First of all, I don't know if he has, like, again, I don't want to be judgmental or anything. I don't know, but the thing he does with his eyebrows, where he's, like, always, like, it drives me crazy. Like, I watched, like, 2 seconds of a video, and he's, like, watching someone else, and he's literally, like, I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? You're giving me anxiety just watching you. I don't know if there's something like that is physically that is going on with him, or like, I don't know. But it's just personally, I cannot watch that. It just makes me really nervous. It gives me really bad anxiety. He has a condition, he has always done it with his eyebrows, really. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. Like, no, like, I'm sure there's things that I do that pisses people off too. God knows, right? But like, specifically for me, I like... It gets me kind of, it just gives me anxiety when he's like, the whole time. I'm like, can't do it. He said it was because the Guild Wars 2 community kept negging him about it. Really? The Final Fantasy community did the same for Final Fantasy. He fully reviewed and played a lot of it. But he won't do the same for Guild Wars 2. That's fine. I mean, whatever. I just, you know, the thing is, it kind of goes back to the whole idea of like holding someone's opinion, and like he's one of those people that people hold in such high regard when it comes to like opinions about anything. I'm like, who gives a fuck about this random fucking dude's opinion? Like, I get, like, if you like the guy and you're like, you know, you kind of want to, you know, you take the opinion into consideration, but like, I feel like so many of his fans like are just like, they take his opinions at face value, and they're just like, this is my opinion now because Osmongold has this opinion, and it's mine now. This is my opinion. I believe this because of the reasons that he said. He said it. You heard it, and that's why I believe it. It's like, oh my god, no, think for yourself. I'm just annoyed because he calls my favorite thing lame, but he's never really tried it. Well, that's fine. We don't have to listen to him. I don't listen to other people. Don't listen to other people. At least play it before you trash it. I mean, I guess, but you know, I guess the only thing that sucks about it is that he has such a huge following, so he kind of gatekeeps these people from actually enjoying themselves. Because I'm sure there's probably many people of his fans, many people in his fandom that would enjoy the game, but because he says that he won't touch it or whatever, they're like, well, I'm not gonna touch it either. Osmongold isn't touching it. I'm not touching it. What? No. You know, like that's always how it goes. Such a shame. I never noticed those flowers. And Final Fantasy XIV skyrocketing views because of him. I want that for Guild Wars 2. I mean, I do too, but I also think that the Guild Wars 2 community has this really weird thing where they refuse to watch Guild Wars 2 content. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Again, it's one of the things that's like so strange about the Guild Wars community, because they will happily watch other MMOs and other games and whatever, but they'd be like, oh, Guild Wars 2, you can't really watch that. There's really like no content. It's really not like, you know, I'd rather play it than watch it. And it's like, but why? Like, you would watch WoW content, but you're not watching Guild Wars content because you don't think it's watchable? Like, what makes it not watchable? You know, like, I don't know, there's I don't know, it's kind of weird. So it's another weird part of the Guild Wars community that I'll never understand. I love watching Guild Wars content. I really do. Whether it's new people playing it, or like people doing challenges, or like something along those, I don't know. Like, even raids, I like watching raids and like seeing like how well people perform and stuff. I just, like I said, for me personally, I don't have time to watch any of it, so I kind of have to like curate the content that I watch, like in general, like anything, watch anything. In order to watch, like, I have to make sure that I watch just the bare minimum of the things in my life. So a lot of his fans say, I've seen say they like Guild Wars 2, but then there's others who just following him like lemmings, calling it trash because he doesn't play it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just the internet, right? Like, it's the popular thing to do, so let's hate on it. I mean, sometimes I don't watch content of something I play a lot because it's just too much stimulation. It can be. I mean, Guild Wars 2 can be a lot of stimulation, and let's be real, like, sometimes it's really hard to follow what's going on with Guild Wars because it's such an active game, right? Like, you're, like, there's so much things happening on screen and stuff like that, but I just, you know, just for the personalities, or, like, there is certain things you can watch that are just, you know, that are not as stimulating, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think this is too stimulating. I mean, it might be. There's certain points where it's maybe a little stimulating, but I don't think it's as bad as other things could be. I think any of my content is pretty easy to... because again, it's like I don't have that like, hey, what's up guys, welcome to another video. Today we're gonna talk about the lore. So Visions of Eternity just came out and there's so much going on, man, so many things, so let's get right into it. Like, I don't do that. Right? Like there is content out there that you can watch that isn't like that. And I feel like a lot of people just have that like weird opinion about like that's every content creator out there. It's like they're not all like that. You can find other people that have like actual personalities. Oh God forbid a streamer has an actual personality that's, you know, not that. Whatever that is. That streamer personality, dude. I just can't. Washington Chrome. That's an interesting name. The games that do a bunch of stuff I know I won't play. That I do a lot of too. You know, and I think that's where we're very similar in that. There's a lot of games that I watch. What? Interact? Oh, it's the interesting. There's a like I love watching games that I know I'm never gonna play. I love watching game like playthroughs of games where I'm like, man, I really like this game, but I'm never gonna play it myself. And then I watch like a playthrough of it, you know. Warzone, Arc Raiders. I have not watched any Arc Raiders. I used to play Warzone myself. Games I don't even like at all gameplay wise. Like I never touch. But I enjoy watching people skilled like Ninja play them. Interesting. Female Skeeter. Someone's killing the Skeeter. Can I get there in time? I don't think I can. Hold on! Please let me hit it! Oh, I got gold for one hit. That's really funny. I got gold for that. That's really funny. Whacking me up. Whacking me up like a duck. Meh, meh. At least make it elite. I mean, just buff the HP at least on it. I mean, it's just like you look in the direction and it's just like, guys, it's like, oh my God. There's another one. There's another one that's so quickly, it dies so fast that you can't even hear the dialogue because there's like 3-4 lines that are supposed to be set by this character at every interval, right? Like it's like 80%, 50%, 30% or whatever, right? Like, but because you defeat it so quickly, they all blend into one. It's like blah blah blah. You're gonna not dead, and it's like, what just happened? And that's if you've ever done it, it's Grazden the Protector. That quest right here. He has abysmally low health. Like he literally, you look at him, dead. Like, you can use Freezing Gust against him, and he'll die. And that's sad. That's fucking pathetic right there. If you die to Freezing Gust, you're pathetic. Ooh, let me over there. Oh my God, let me tell you guys. The other day, I cried a little. Because I was here. Okay, this was during the Jumpstart, during the day that Jumpstart went live. I came in and there was like 500 people doing this exact event, okay? Because this event like takes like 5 minutes. So more and more people were gathering, okay? There was all these people gathering, okay? And because there was that many people gathering, it chained for the first time in a decade. It chained into the next events, which was that you have to go into the area over here with the jungle trolls, and you have to free the Sylvan pubs. You have to free them, and then at the very end, you have to kill the king of the. I literally was like, Oh my god, I made a short about that. I haven't seen these events in so long. I literally, those events, that exact event chain where you have to go into the troll area, free the pups, and then kill the troll king is... I had for the longest time this feeling of being gaslit. I thought I was, or not gaslit, but I had a Mandela effect where I had this memory of doing those events, but then I hadn't seen them in 10 years, and I'm like, I must have imagined those. Those don't exist. And that's what led me to making that short that I eventually did, and finding out that they're only triggered by like a large amount of people there. And then like just the other day, like on Tuesday, like last Tuesday or whatever, this like head start thing went live. Oh, by the way, here's a model that we don't see very often. It's an infected hound. Look at that model. It has like all these like disgusting, yeah, and then it's dead. But before it dies, it kind of transforms into this gross, like nasty version of itself. But yeah, it was just like, oh my god, oh god, it was the craziest thing. I mean that mosquito because the male Savari for that event talks so slowly, he finishes first sentence by the time you kill it. Yes, I know. I just like you bringing up these events that have just never existed for me because they end up dropping the ball on how they activate. Dude, it was so good to see that. I literally was like, man, I wish I was streaming this right now and I could like show people these events because they're just so rare now. They're like this rarity that you don't see anymore. So maybe we don't have enough people here, but it probably won't trigger, but I wish it did trigger though. Yeah. Canaxide the Scythe. And then we have this guy who's Urgaz no Dachi. Are they both from the same guild? They are. I was gonna say, I'm like, how are they both named after the bosses of the Elite Mission in Guild Wars 2? Or in Guild Wars 1? In Guild Wars 1 factions. Because one is defeating Urgaz and one is defeating Canaxide. I was like, that's kind of weird how they're both named after factions characters, or faction bosses specifically.
Thank you for helping
Really
us save the Silver Count. I'm sure they're grateful as well.
Yeah, it was crazy. So the event finished, and as soon as that happened, this triggered, and I ran over there, and I was like, oh my god, I'm doing it. And of course, everything died in like 20 seconds, because there was just like 700 people, and none of this has been balanced at all with all the new stuff, so everything died really quickly. But it was just so good to see that. I was like, yeah, so nice. Content that we haven't seen in so long. Ooh, I was like, oh, I got armor. I can't wear it. So it's such a weird, like, thing. I'm also working on a, right now I'm working on a poison themed necromancer, which is actually coming together really well. I kind of have like fashion already set up for him, and I'm very excited. Very, very excited. Oh, I'll swap. I don't care. Seeing that level 10 male in first person view is fucking terrifying. I know, it just like pops up like, hello. I wish they would update weather effects too in the game. Like the rain, they could do a better job. Like I said, I would love to see like when it rains, seeing some droplets on the screen and stuff. There's a lot of things I think they could do to improve weather in this game. What was it the other day? Oh, like birds. Specific, I think in this area, is it? Hold on, let me go. There is like in the early part of the map, you have all these birds that fly around, and it made me realize that there aren't that many birds that fly around on like Castora, and I'm like, man, I wish they would have more like ambient birds flying around. It really helps to like add immersion. I think, do they not appear at night? Is that maybe what it is? Or... But usually this, like, I think it's during the day. What's the Tyrian time right now? Oh, it just turned 9. We'll come back here during the day, because during the day you can see all these birds flying around here, and I'm like, man, I really wish there was like one stuck. Oh, it looked like it was stuck a minute. Yeah, actually, there they are. You can see the birds flying around. See, there's all these birds flying around. These are, yeah, birds. Like all these birds flying around, right? And it's so weird because the login screen for Visions of Eternity has all these birds flying around everywhere, and I'm like, there aren't even that many birds on Castora. Like, you don't hear any seagulls flying around and stuff. Like, I'm like, I wish there should have been more of that. Should have been more like seagulls flying around and things. There really aren't. My ritual is already a vampire type build using Relic of Atrocity. Looking forward to the new, to the little buffs coming for it. I wonder if we'll ever get it 6 month story up. It'd be nice to get 2. We're probably gonna get 1. I mean, I'm guessing we're gonna get 1 pet. I think 6 months is more than enough to add a pet. I'm hoping it's gonna be one of the Gwills as a pet. That'd be really cool. I still wish they would add like a cool healing pet into the game. If they add a Gwill into the game that has like healing abilities or something, dude, I might have to main Ranger. Basically an owl, and I've been wanting a healing, like a pet that has like maybe long range healing capabilities or something. Doesn't have to be overpowered, but I've been wanting something like that for a long time. The Gwills are cool though. I really like them. I hope we're gonna see more of them. People were talking about the other day what we're gonna get for the raid encounter, and people were saying it's gonna be the Seb encounter from the story. I really think it's gonna be the Seneschal encounter, not the Seneschal of the forest, but Keela, Seneschal Keela. I'm really thinking like Keela is gonna be the Seneschal, that like it's gonna be the raid encounter that we're gonna get. I want a pet to have its own personal healing well spring, something like that. That'd be kind of cool. It's quite short in the story. I'd like to, and it has like, the thing also is it's a short fight, but it has like proper mechanics in it. You know what I mean? Like there's like actual mechanics in the, you know, there's the waves going through, and there's like, you know, you have to like go over there and like get the artifacts and stuff. Like they could really build on those specific
Bruce in trouble. Please head north.
Those specific like mechanics of that fight. They can really build on it, you know. All right, I'm just trying to get the dodging here because that'll help me level up. Already level 11. Getting an extra like 50% from all sources is kind of insane. Like, I haven't even left the tutorial area of the Sylvari, and I'm already level 11. That is kind of crazy. I'm gonna attack the abomination! Oh my god. Dig for your artifacts with your lead, dig for artifacts to give to the boss. Antiquary during that fight though. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. I would love to be able to use my own artifacts as like the relics that she's looking for. Like actual relics, you know? Like what we're supposed to get. Not Metal Legion guitars or whatever.
I intend to find out what.
But I mean, I don't know. I haven't touched Antiquary. Maybe I will at some point. I really need to. Maybe I'll stream it at some point. Like really get into some of these other elite specializations. I haven't played any of them. Maybe I'll wait until the balance patch is out. Hello.
Brambles! It's huge!
It's huge.
More undead! It's
Alright, I'm gonna run
Strike
away.
now.
Oh wow, that was so fast. Jesus. So quickly.
Talk about a wild hunt!
Oh, hello. Get out of here, bird. Low spec unless for me. Thought it was gonna be high. No, yeah, for me it was never high ever. There was never a time where I was like, ooh, this could be really cool. But I thought about that as well, and I know a lot of people were like, oh, I really wanted like a card themed spec. Well, that's actually still open. That door is still open to have a card themed spec, and I want that for a Mesmer. I want the next Mesmer spec to be like this card dealing like illusionist, that instead of like summoning illusions, they summon like cards, and like kind of like have it like almost function a little bit like the oh god, what's the girl from not Final Xenoblade Chronicles, the magical girl, Melia, like Melia from Xenoblade Chronicles, where like you can summon like 3 different elements and it enhances your abilities, but then you can like, you know, you could use a shatter, but like with her it's like you can like cast the thing again to like shoot it or something or whatever, but like have like different effects based on like which cards you play or something. Like that would be really cool to me. Or something, I don't know. It's just I haven't thought that through because I feel like there's a lot of ways that wouldn't work. But Gearshot quickly went low on the tier 2. How good it actually worked against it for me, and I just really love Wind Condi build. Yeah, I could see that. Let's say the cards from Mesmer would be too similar to Virtuoso Daggers, or like Elementalist Attunements where you get different card themes. That could be neat. I think they could twist it. I don't see how. I mean, I see what you're saying, but I feel like there's definitely a way that they could make it feel unique and not like Virtuoso at all.
What do you want?
Power damage, Condi, healing, yeah, something like that. But I would like to have like maybe how right now the randomness is a little bit on the artifacts that you get like as a thief, right? Like maybe have some kind of like randomness to the cards. So like instead of like summoning illusions, you summon these cards above yourself, but like you have like, you know, a choice of like 4 different cards that you can pull, or like 3-4 different cards or something you can pull, and like based on which cards you use in your shatter, you cause like different effects. So you could have like, you know, a water themed card or something in there, and like if you use that, then you cause like healing with your shatter or something like that, and then you can have like kind of like how the Antiquary has right now, where based on that you can get, you know, you can have trades that let you get like, oh well, you know, you're always guaranteed to have like 2, like if you want to make like a healing build out of it or something, you're always guaranteed to get 2 water themed cards whenever you pull any card or whatever, like when you pull a card from your deck or whatever they want to call it, right? or something like that. I don't fucking know. But there's so many cool things, like where they could have like they could even have the idea of like you have activated my trap card, right? They could have like these really cool voice lines they could have from like Yu-Gi-Oh or something that they could pull, or like some really famous like card names they could pull, maybe make a twist on it, you know, for that as well. I think there's a lot that they could do with it. It's the man, the myth, the legend. Hi, Amortius. How are you? Could call the elite skill shufflers gambling and you throw a bunch of illusionary dice. Oh, dice would be also like, you could kind of have that, right? You could have the idea of dice rolling. Maybe have it where like, you know, depending on which number on the die you roll, it has like different effects and stuff like that. I don't know. I really think that there is like something that Antiquary, as the way that they have executed it, definitely leaves room to have
The road ahead is dangerous, friend. If you venture further,
having like something card themed, something like actually gambling, you know, the gambling man kind of thing, like that's card themed, that's dice themed. Like they could definitely, it leaves room for that 100%. Rating on enemy skill, I want its cards and dice. Yeah, something like that, right? Like dice, or like there's so many different things they could do with gambling, right? Like there's so many imagery that they can use for gambling. As we're getting trap utility skills, that would be kind of cool. Maybe having some long range traps that you can use. Maybe not like 1200 range, but like maybe have it something where I can at like 600 range, I can place like a card on the ground, and instead of having like a circle, be it a circle, it's like an actual like square on the ground, and like it's a trap, and the enemy, and then it flips over, and there's like a flip over, if like an effect, like an illusionary card that flips over, and the trap activates, and like depending on which trap you use, it causes different things. Is this Elder Scrolls Online? Yeah, it is. Doesn't it look beautiful? I can picture all the shattering butterfly sound effects for this mesmerizing circle replaced with card shuffling, dice tumbling sound effects. That would be cool. I would love that. I would really, really love that. I've always wanted, ever since I did, and I talked about this, ever since I did the Elite Specialization Speculation videos that I did before End of Dragons came out, I thought of another, I wanted to do like another set of them. I wanted to come up with another set of them. And the one that I had written down for the Mesmer, I had written down, I think 3 or 4 ideas that I had on different professions. And the first one that I had ever was like a card-based Mesmer. Like just have it be a gambling man, right? And like the illusions are replaced with like cards or something, and like that kind of thing, and there's like a random factor in there, but then through the trades you could make it less random, and you can kind of like make it kind of build it around what you need it to be. So how are you, Mortius? But you throw a card on the ground, yeah, exactly, like that, like a necromark, exactly. And you can have like maybe even have it to the point where it can be triggered by friendlies or something, like the marks now, and have like positive effects or something, or maybe have a trade that causes that, where the trade, I'm not doing the mysterious chest, by the way, I'm leaving that there, where like the, where like there's a trade where it's like, oh, you know, your cards now do like, you know, positive effects, but can be triggered by your allies or something, and that could be a Grandmaster trade into like maybe having a support build or something, and have these different traps instead of just doing like, conditions or whatever, right? Have them deal, like dish out boons or whatever. You know, you could have it like that. I think it would be really cool. I think that would leave, you know, because we have to think about like the next elite specializations or even the next weapons that are being added. They have to be unique, and I think specifically the Mesmer, there's like, you're kind of running there. There's like a lot of people are like, I feel like if you're going into different ideas, you're gonna borderline make it feel like a different spec. But like, I feel like the gambling thing is unique enough to not be similar. It could be, it's similar to like Antiquary, but it's not similar to like a different Mesmer spec, I feel like. So I think that could work. But you know, I don't know. I also feel like not having weapons be added with elite specializations kind of made these elite specializations not that, they kind of, I don't know, it kind of feels like there was always this part of the identity that's now kind of missing, right? It was like a weapon that kind of fit. Because when I look at something like, for example, Spellbreaker, you know, which for the warrior, right, which was like the daggers were added. Like when you look at the daggers now, just the dagger skills, they feel like they belong on the Spellbreaker kit. They really do, just by the way that the animations work and the spell, the skills on it work, you know. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's hard for them, because if they're doing weapon, elite specialization, weapon, elite specialization, then it's like the weapons have to be unique to what the elite specializations do, and it's just, it becomes kind of strange, I feel like, because then they try to do like specific mechanics on the, well, I don't know. Might just be. I don't care. I'm not going in the water. I don't have a water. Bartmoo Roachfish.
We have honored the great beast as those who came before us have done.
It's a name. Sure the hell it is. It's a name. Ooh.
Thank you for helping.
Thank you for helping. Yeah. Do wonder what the next weapons will be. Obviously it's gonna be a on-hand a trident. Hello, have you not been paying attention? Blood and water. I got a key. There's consistency in Dread, but I definitely have a feeling it's not gonna do that. Not yet anyways. I don't know. I just think it's low-hanging fruit, ArenaNet. You can do it. I believe in you. Give everyone the trident on land, please. I can see all of them work beautifully. There's so many really cool things they could do with it. They're gonna fuck up. I know they're gonna fuck up like at least 2 of those. If they were to add trident, they would fuck up at least two of them. Elementalists, they're gonna fuck up. They're gonna make Elementalists really fucking weird, probably. And what's the other one they would fuck up? Probably Warrior. They'd probably fuck up Warrior and make it like a weird greatsword thing, but like worse. I don't know how that's possible, because the greatswords are already fucking bad as hell.
Face me as another form.
2 expansions in a row? Whoa, that's not 2 expansions in a row. Visions of Eternity was in between. So I just really want them to give us Trident, okay? I really want to see Trident. I want to see, you know, it's such a weird thing. I have one specific reason. I really love how you can see the yellow flowers in that little hut over there. Okay. you know, the one thing that I want them to do with Trident is I want to see more, because here's the thing, okay? I really like Spectre, okay? And Spectre, the only way that you can play Spectre is with Scepter. Like, you can try to make other weapons work, but Scepter will always be top-notch. We need another weapon. Besides, like, I guess you could maybe make Spear work.
That might actually work. Find pirates.
I guess Spear works, right? But I want, like, another long-range weapon for Spectre. And Trident would be perfect for that. I would love to see a long-range, like a Shadow Magic-based Trident for Thief. That's all. That's all I want. The rest I don't care about. You can make whatever you want. Just make that a thing. All I want. Ooh, Revenant. Revenant is a good one too. I totally forgot about that. But Revenant underwater, Trident is the best weapon in the game. The best weapon in the game. Hands down. No competition. Trident on Ranger would be ranged and melee just like Spear. Yeah, they could make that happen. I would, you know what I would love to see is...
Stay on guard. There are several Drake nests up ahead.
I'm trying to think if that's like a good idea. I would like to see... I'm just gonna move north. I'm almost level 15. The amount of experience that I'm getting from just like existing is like crazy because of this. So I'm just gonna move north. I was thinking about, instead of having these like be long range / short range at the same time, maybe have a button that switches that over. So I was I don't know, what do you guys think? Like having, okay, so let's say Trident on Ranger has 1 through 4 close range attacks. Boom, right? Okay, you go in, you do close range attacks, blah blah blah, whatever. Okay, then you press the 5 button and it switches 1 through 4 to long range. And so now you do long range attacks. What do you guys feel about that as an idea? Maybe have, like, the 5 skill could do something else as well. Like, I don't know, recharge all your weapon skills or provide a boon or something. I don't know. But just kind of have like a pretty much on a button swapping over between long range and short range. Almost giving you like a third weapon. Maybe? Like maybe have it where they retain the cooldowns from the close range weapons to like long range weapon skills. You swap it over. As long as it does a skill and does damage and then flips over to the other range. Trident on Engineer needs to be pure power. They probably would do that, yeah, because, I mean, the Condi Spear, definitely, yeah. Like, if you're melee switching to range, it's a dodge backward skill, but if it's a range skill switching to melee, it's a scorpion wire pull or something. Yeah, something like that, right? Like, they're obviously, like, different skills, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you have them, like, you know, you can swap pretty much between a long-range set and a short-range set. And you can say like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna use like 1, 2, 3, 4, which is all like close range, whatever, right? And then like, you know, and you have like a dodge backwards and maybe like an engage skill where you jump forward or whatever, right? And then you press 5 and all of a sudden you're now like attacking at long range and you're just set in long range. Because the one thing that kind of bothers me is the way that, and I don't know if other people have that same experience. I don't know if it's just me, but I have such a hard time I have such a hard time sometimes, like, specifically on Revenant. Sometimes it feels when you're switching between long range. So like, if I have the spear and I'm attacking the Skrit, and he comes closer to me, and I'm throwing the spear, and I'm throwing the spear, and I'm throwing the spear, and all of a sudden he gets a melee range, my character has this like weird moment where they like stop doing what they're doing, and then now they have to switch over into melee, and it feels kind of clunky. There's this like weird clunkiness where it's like, it feels kind of forced that they added this like, oh, the variable of having like long range and short range on the same weapon skills. Like, it's kind of weird to me, and I feel like I would rather have that on command than be automatically happening to my weapon, if that makes sense. Like, in my opinion, I feel like that would feel better for me, so you could kind of decide on what you want to do. So you could even decide to say like, oh, well, I don't want to use the long range weapon on the Trident for Ranger. I have a longbow for that, so I can just weapon swap and like do that. Or maybe even do this, you take away weapon swap. Dun dun dun, and you're stuck with just that weapon. Ooh, that would be rough. Imagine that, you guys. Imagine you had to like, you can't use your second weapon now. You can only use your spear, and when you weapon, or your trident, and when you weapon swap, you just swap to the other. You just swap to the other weapon, or to the other set of skills. I can see a lot of trails. On lane being fun. Blazing trail and stab as an ice trail with the water version. Leaving behind an ice wall. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that idea. And like having them explode or something. Yeah, shatters and chilling hurting. That would be something. Yeah, you can only use trident. And they take away your ability to swap weapons, and you're stuck on just using trident. I feel like that would be unique, having that, right? I feel like that would be pretty unique.
Attack! Yes!
But then again, that's like a lot of work, because then they have to design, you know, for the regular classes, they have to design 10 skills and functionality and balance all that. So that's a lot of work too. So that's probably never gonna happen, but that's all wishful thinking. But that wouldn't affect Ellie. Yeah, no, it wouldn't. You know, they would still not be able to weapon swap. So they only get their one set. You know, their one set, quote unquote. I mean, you know, Ellie has like still 4 sets of weapon skills that they can use. You know what I mean? But yeah, they're just kind of like stuck with that same. They can't swap between that bar. So their bars would automatically be like maybe be set in like long range or short range or something, right? Like I could see the trident on engineer be a power short range weapon, short range power weapon. All right, so we can go to the next map already. Had an argument about NG's weapon swap situation. I'm getting people understanding my side. Not really saying I want weapon swap. Okay. So what's the argument? Look, it's all floating in the air. But Arena needs to figure out a way to get weapon swap, relic, sigil triggers to work without needing weapon kits. Yes, agreed. Like, because currently there's no solution as a kid in your build, or get the fuck out. Yeah, so maybe have it where they have this button over here. Instead of having it a weapon swap button, have it be a trigger swap button or something, where you can press it, but you don't actually swap your weapons, but it triggers your sigils that you have equipped, or your whatever that you have equipped, your relics, your sigils, whatever, right? And it has the same cooldown as if you had weapon swap, and it gets affected by something that is like a cooldown on weapon swap or something like that, but that it has it there. How does it work on Elementalist? Do you get the weapon swap on attunement swap, right? You get that on attunement swap. No, tool belt skills or skill. Yeah, but that's kind of that would be, I don't know, because then you're kind of, because if you want that effect to happen, you're then forced to use those skills, but many of those skills you might want to use them in specific situations, and so then you're kind of like limited and you can't get it in the right moment where you need it, right? That's why I'm saying, like, having this weapon be having this button be available, but only like you can press it, but it doesn't actually trigger a weapon swap. It just triggers whatever you have equipped, whatever relic you have equipped. So you can just press the button every, what is it, 10 seconds is the regular weapons cooldown or whatever. So every 10 seconds you can press that button if you want to and trigger that. At least have an ability that lets you, you know, independently of all your other skills, let you use that, because that's kind of how it works on all the other classes, you know. Maybe make it so the F1 triggers the weapon swap, as all NGs have F1 and want to use it usually. I mean, they could do that too. They could do that too. Yeah, have it on F1 specifically. But I feel like I said, it's like I don't know if that makes sense, but like I feel like sometimes those have different priorities and different purposes, right? My relic might not have the same purpose as my F1 ability, and my F1 I use in this situation, but then my relic I want to use in a different situation. And so then you have to consider your relic, the relic that you're picking, based on which F1 you're using, because, you know, that skill is now tied to that. You know what I mean? Vanilla beans, yummy. Original halls have evolved for amalgam. Mostly passive, so no 5 for them. So yeah, it's difficult to figure out for sure. Yeah, but it's definitely something that they need to look at. I mean, it's kind of shit that engineers are stuck with not having access to something that there's a lot of those out there. There's a lot of sigils, there's a lot of relics that do that, and that could enhance that gameplay. Maybe get rid of weapon swap and change it to something else. What would you change it to? Besides just being a button press. Because if you're doing it anything other than button pressing, then you're probably going to add something to the core of engineer that might be overpowered or something. That could add too much to the class. Ow. Ow, no, stop it. So many of you guys. Weapon swap, relic sigils get revamped. I mean, that's probably never gonna happen. I was really, I mean, you know, I was super positive about that entire idea of, oh, they're gonna look at, like, you know, runes and sigils and all that when relics were announced. I was so like excited about all of that. I was like, oh, that means we're probably gonna get a nice overhaul of like the rune system and the sigils and all that stuff. No, they made the system worse, and then they added the relics and made that system just as bad as the sigil and the runes, and are continuing to just bloat that system with shit that no one uses. Like, there's so many sigils, like so many that people don't use, that are just, especially the core ones. I mean, there's so many of them that are just like complete garbage. And it's like, you just made that system, like, you know, it was already bad and now you made it worse. It's like, oh god. Oops. Overhaul on sigils so badly. I think on all of those, all the upgrade components need to be looked at. Even relics, like, you know, we're only like 3 years into the system of relics and it's such a garbage system. So bad. Like, yes, there's a lot of relics that are really like, that are good and they're nice to use, but there's so many that are all just like, why are they here? No one wants this. No one is using this for anything. This has no use because they're just so bad compared to like the other ones. Like, there's no balance to them. And trust me, I have tried to make some work. I have tried to make some of these relics work, but I'm like, oh my god, these are like, are so bad. So bad. Alright, so I gotta get out of this map. Yeah, I gotta go to the next map before I'm level 16. Sigil fire to do burn, but instead they give us a relic of the fractal. Yeah, I mean, I love using the sigil of fire. I like using it. I just made a char warrior the other day that I fully equipped, and let me tell you, it's really fun.
Seems strangely comfortable with your violent life.
It's more than me.
I'm gonna actually show it because I'm getting really bored of this, honestly. So here, this is my new Berserker. He is modeled after Guild Wars 1's Warriors, a little bit. Like, he's inspired by Guild Wars 1 Warriors, but he's a Berserker. He's super fun to play. They're scared to give us a lot of access to burn, it seems, and then they give Antiquaire all that burn. Well, yeah, they don't want to give it to us in the form of, like, anyone can have it, because I feel like there are certain Condi builds that would just, you know, like Guardian, for example, that would just take that and completely run with it, and just that would do a lot for them, you know. But yeah, on this guy, I have the sigil of fire on there, you know, so, and just an accuracy, just because I want to get that critical chance. But yeah, this guy is really fun because I don't use Berserker on my warrior main, right? Like, I haven't really I'm stuck on like Spellbreaker, and like I said, Paragon, you know, once those, like, the changes that they recently did, like, I kind of want to maybe jump into it at some point, but right now I'm like not really into it or whatever. So but yeah, he's like super fun to play, and I've kind of rediscovered the love for using Char even, you know. But it's super fun. So for exotic and rare triggered separately, yeah, I don't think that probably probably that doesn't work anymore. I would think it would. I mean, I feel like, but yeah, Berserker is so much fun because you can just like, I can cast my F1 like 75 times. Whoa, hello, where did you come? I remember when that was a much longer channel than it is now. But yeah, it's super fun, and I can get some really decent damage out of him. For sure. So I'm probably, once that quick play goes live, this is probably going to be the character that I'm going to play. Like the raid quick play stuff. Because this guy like does pretty decent damage, so... I think on just like this stuff, I have Superior Rune of Rage on there as well, which gives me just a ton of ferocity. Now you like Berserker, huh? I'm over here trying my damage to like Paragon. I like it, but it's like I prefer Spellbreaker. I like that's the thing for me. It's like I like it on a char. Like the idea of what this char was, right, was just like the Berserker fits perfectly for it. I think that's why I like it so much, right? Because this char is inspired by like the Guild Wars 1 char that are like these brutal, like primal, animalistic, like they're just going in and they're just like, you know, like in Guild Wars 1 they have like frenzy, and so they attack like really fast, and they just like, they're just so brutal, you know. And I think in like in Ascalon, you know, as we play through Guild Wars 1, we've been kind of seeing how they make the char to be these like really difficult enemies and he's really powerful. And so I really like Berserker on him because it feels really good. And the improvements they've done to Berserker over the years have been really, really nice too. Like Berserker feels a lot better than it did on release. On release I wasn't really like a huge fan of Berserker, but I actually like Berserker now. For the most part, so that's kind of my reasoning. I still think that Spellbreaker is way cooler, in my opinion. Whee! Like, my Spellbreaker, and that's the thing, like, I swap back with my main to Spellbreaker. I like Spellbreaker in theme for sure. Yeah, when you make a char and it fits a theme so well. Yeah, it's really, really cool. I didn't even, like, honestly, when I first made the character, I didn't even have that in my thought process. Like I literally didn't even think about what elite specialization I was gonna use. Wow, I haven't even been on the second map. I mean, I've been on the second map, but I guess it's not a lot. Like I made the character because I was like, you know, we've been playing a lot of Guild Wars 1, and I was like, man, you know, and I've been thinking about like playing other races because I've been playing, you know, I've been playing humans for so long, and I'm always like playing humans, and blah 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 blah. And so I was like, man, I really want to get into playing some other races, you know, and so I just love the like brutality of the Guild Wars 1 char. You know, how primal, and they're just like, they're not really these like intelligent beings, you know, they're just led by instinct and stuff. And I was like, man, I really like that, you know. I've been wanting to make another warrior because I only have like one warrior, and I was like, maybe I want to make another warrior. And so I created that warrior, and then when it came time to thinking about like what elite special, I was like, oh my god, Berserker fits perfectly for this. I was like, I didn't even think about that. And then it just kind of like came together, and I tried it out, and I was like, oh man, this really feels like a Guild Wars 1 char, like a Guild Wars 1 char warrior, you know. And so I was like, wow, I really like the concept of this, you know. So but I still like Spellbreaker. I like the idea of like interrupting people and dazing them and dishing the conditions back to them and stuff. Obviously they're changing this, which kind of really pisses me off. The change they're doing here is really stupid, so in the next update it's really bothering me a lot, but hey, whatever. ArenaNet hates warriors, so we all know that. Why I like my Norn, so this is what AMC mean for Evoker and Norn, because it's all about Spirits of the Wild. Right. I was gonna do Sylvari Bard, but I like my Sylvari NG too much. And prefer Human Bard. It's like Chris Pine a little bit. That's cool. Yeah, so I'm still like on board with Spellbreaker. I just I'm kind of sad about the changes to Warrior. Like it's really tough playing a Warrior right now because it's like we haven't seen really any and like I said, it's not just about nerfs and buffs, but it's about making meaningful changes. And I feel like ArenaNet has just been making nerfs that feel just very like, I guess there's meaning behind them, but they feel so like I'm like, you know, on other things they kind of like they nerfed some stuff but then they balanced it out, you know. They like, I really like when I looked at that, I even said to myself, I remember reading the notes of the upcoming balance patch, and I sat here and I out loud I said this to myself. I was like, you know, this is a prime example of really showing two separate sides to the balance, because they have a couple of professions where they actually balance this out. So they have like, okay, they're taking this away, taking this away, taking this away, but they're adding this and this and this instead, or they're just changing this to this, changing this to this, changing this to this, changing this to this, both of which go into like the first category, right, which I think is good balance. And then they have the second category where they're like, okay, we're taking this away, we're taking this away, we're lowering this, lowering this, lowering this, lowering this. And it's like, that doesn't really feel like balancing, because you're just like taking the fucking horse out back and shooting it in the fucking head. Like, on some of that stuff, you know, and that might be like very extreme to, you know, extreme analogy, but like, you get the gist, you know? So I don't know, but it's just, that's kind of why I'm like deciding on like what I want to do. Like, one of the reasons why I've been really liking playing Revenant is because they haven't really been nerfing Revenant. And like the little bit of changes, again, they didn't nerf it, but the changes that we saw were for Conduit, right? But they haven't like touched Herald or any of the other stuff. And like, I'm kind of like, okay, like Vindicator hasn't seen any changes in a while, and I'm like okay with that, you know. I'm like, I'm fine with that, you know. That's okay. Like, but with Warrior over the last couple of years, I gotta say they've had it really tough. Like, us Warriors have had it really tough because they when they introduced spears, they nerfed it to the point where like you'd still take spears, but like comparatively to like almost every other weapon, spears feel very lackluster, you know. But you take it because it's a long range weapon, and it does things. There's certain things it does pretty well, you know, compared to like rifle or something. But then they buffed rifle at the same time, so it's just kind of like, okay, so I get you want options to be there, but it's just kind of like whatever. And then they introduced staff, and then they nerfed staff, and then they nerfed staff again, and then they nerfed it again. And then they introduced like Paragon, which was kind of boring, and then they buffed it a little bit here and there, but it's still kind of like boring. So I don't know. It's like, it's just when I look at like, again, none of the changes feel meaningful or like thoughtful. I guess it's the idea. Like, they don't feel thoughtful. They didn't feel like someone sat down and was like, how can I make this like really good? Like, how can I make this better? You know, not just that I want to nerf it or buff it or whatever, you know, but like, I just want to make this better. But there's like, you can really tell that no one on the balance team thinks about like Warrior that way. Like, they're just like, ugh, yeah, you know, I was fighting this Warrior in World vs. World, and fucking, you know, the staff blocking all of my fucking shots. We gotta get rid of that block. We just gotta get rid of it. And it's like, that doesn't feel thoughtful. That just feels like an afterthought to all of it, you know? I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna do the fire elemental. I guess it's gonna spawn in like, you know, whatever, 20,000 hours. This is always one of those world bosses that always takes forever to spawn. And then I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end the stream. Let's see if we can find the key. I did that the other day. I actually went in and I looked around and found the key. I had never done that before. The Matrix Cube key or whatever it's called. Matrix key cube or something like that. And you can find it in like different locations. And like I kind of had to like look it up, and I actually found it. And I didn't realize that there's always one available at all times, but if a player finds it, it respawns immediately in one of the other spots you can find it at. And there's like a lot of different spots it can spawn. And I'd never looked for it. I'd never looked around. You can find it like in the bushes and stuff. Like in the bushes over here. I guess you can find it like in this bush or something. No, it's not there. Is it here? No. Is it here? No. But it was really fun because like I infused it, because you have to like infuse it with the can it be in here? Guess not. I mean, it's not in there right now. Is it in here? I don't know all the spawn locations. There's like a lot of them. There's like 30 different spawn locations, but I know these bushes because it's green. It's a green key. It's a green key on the ground, not key, but it's like it looks like that but smaller. It looks like that but miniature. So it's like this green stuff that's coming off the ground. It doesn't have a nameplate with it, but it's a small little thing like that. And I think this person is looking for it too. So people are looking for it. Anyone got the Matrix key? Yeah, so someone got it. And they do have it infused with all the things. So we have a key for later. They're doing yet another Connie power conversion trade. Yeah, that's really cool to me. I just, you know, we talk about that all the time, and I think that's one of the coolest things ever when you have like a you know, a trade that does that. Like doing more with the conditions they have in the game, because the conditions feel kind of very boring. But just by themselves, you know, they just kind of feel very whatever. But the way that they work on it and they change it and they do the things and they whatever, like with the trades and stuff, really nice. I don't know where this key spawns. There's always, it's so weird because there's always one available, but if someone finds it, it spawns in like a new location. It can also spawn down here, I believe. There's like certain in these corners it can spawn somewhere. I don't think it spawns down there. There it is. Got it. So now we can infuse it. Oh, I went the wrong way. I gotta infuse it. So now we have the cube key here. Even if I don't use it, if I fully infuse it and I go into that area after the fire elemental, even if I don't use it, it still gets removed from my inventory, which is kind of shit. Okay, so this usually has like a crystal around it, and you have to like open the crystal and then a bunch of oozes spawn. But we're gonna infuse it with different, so we have infused it with water. It's such a fun little side quest that you can do. I really, really like it. And then you have to do a couple of jumping puzzles, and I hadn't done these in so long. So the earth one is up there, in the bush there. But you have to go from here. Again, it's not a thing that people really do every day, but it's kind of fun. See, so there's one in the bushes there. Let's kill these guys real quick. Take that, boop. And then we just gotta get the fire one we get from the fire elemental at the end. So this is the earth one. So we have water, earth, and then we gotta get the ice, which is this. This one kind of sucks because you have these things that are so annoying, they'll knock you down if you're not careful. So there's one around the corner here that will do that to you. It's the most annoying thing ever. Alright. Freaking annoying. Oh, hello. Ah, forgot that happens. Oh no, see, that happens. I forgot they push you back. What is an earth element? What are all these creatures doing here? There's like 75. Oh, this is because there's a chaotic material. Alright, let's try that again. Because the escort takes forever anyway, so we have plenty of time. I'm surprised it chose NG. I feel like Warrior Ranger is more perfect for that. Yeah, well, like I said, they don't care about Warrior, and Ranger already got something this this patch, which was focusing on Beast Mastery, which is good. Might swap from being full Viper gear to full Grieving, as I'll want to bleed to more intensely, along with more power damage. That's just me speculating. We shall see. Yeah, we shall see. Look at these guys. So you think you have to go over there? You do not. You do not have to go over there. It actually continues right here. And there it is right there. See, it's like we came down there, but it's hidden right up here. Boom, and the key is ready. But yeah, unfortunately, because I did that the other day. Like I said, I did this little key thing, and I was like, oh, someone else probably has the key, and so I can sit here and I can like keep the key until next time. But then when I went into the machine, I just jumped in there. It removed the key. Well, fine. Just take the key, ArenaNet, that I worked so hard to find in a corner. I found it actually. I found it in the bushes. I found it in one of the bushes in here.
Unit online.
It was like in a bush. So, but yeah, we're gonna do Fire Elemental. I'm gonna head out. I want to work on the video later tonight. I'm getting very close, you guys, but there's so much more in this unit. I still gotta record more. I've been recording. You guys have no idea. I spent 8 hours yesterday just editing the video, recording footage. I have so much footage that I had to record because I'm talking about all these different things in this video. It's crazy. I really hope people like that video. I really hope. I hope that's one of those videos that people will appreciate. And not just like I kind of want to see like more than like 300 views on it, because usually my theory videos are like 300 views and then like
ideas are like
no
cream.
one gives a shit after that
top.
anymore. But I really hope people care more about that video. What? Direction with duration and direction. I love that. I didn't even notice that.
Unit online.
Dire erection duration? I don't... Do not engage. That's how I feel right now. Chaos bees. Die. Ooh, if I'm lucky, there's a lot of people here. If I'm lucky, they usually spawn a lot of... oh, she's so cute. Look at her. She's so cute. I love her. That's a great design character, I think. I love her. They usually spawn a lot of champions, so I can kind of work on my weeklies there too. Ooh, we got some food. What do you have? Champions? 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 I don't see any champions. All veterans and elites. She got that pouty face. Yeah, but it looked, I don't know, she looked really cute. Like, I like the hair. I feel like you don't see that a lot. Like, I saw a character named Britney Speared earlier today, and it was just like, it was using the pigtails, a blonde pigtail, and I'm like, I feel like you see that a lot, you know? Like, that hair. There's so many, like, specifically females where you're like, that hair. It's that hair. So I like when people have like pretty unique fashion. Oh, I know Britney Spears. Really? She was. I was leveling my my necro that I was talking about earlier, and yeah, she was hanging out like actually right south of here, like right over here. I don't know what she was doing, but I ran by her down there. So. But yeah. No champions? No champions? No champions. Should be enough people for champions to spawn.
Instructions.
People saying it takes a lot of effort to get a sky scale. It's just time investment. It's not a lot of effort. It's because MMO players just don't know how to fucking chill out. It's not that much work. You just like do a little bit of stuff every day and boom, you get it within a week. It's not that bad. It's not like you have to like fucking finish Fractal level 100 solo with no gear on. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, that's how they put, ooh. That's how they put it sometimes. It's like, do I power bleed conversion because it'll make it so like if an enemy doesn't die from my burn Condi, then power bleed power will make up for it. I think it's always fun to kind of have that, something like that, you know, a lot of damage from a lot of sources. That's what makes Reaper so good, is because you always have like, you know, anything that chills always has, you know, bleed attached to it, right? So like even on the power damage build, you can have just like a shit ton of bleed on it, and that can help out in so many different ways. It might not be the best way to do it, but it definitely is there. I've done Skyscale 4 times. I found it easier and more fun each time I did it. I like, the thing to me is, you know, I don't know how people feel about that at all, but like, to me, those things that are tied to, like, you know, achievements and like quests, like unlocking the Skyscale or the Griffin or something, you know, most people will do them one time, because you know, most people don't get more than one account, right? They like get one account, and then you never do it again. So it's like, kind of like, you have to enjoy that, you know? Like, I can't go back and do that again.
You can do it.
I
That's
just,
an order.
you know, it's kind of sucks that people just like want to rush that, because I kind of miss that. I haven't done the Skyscale stuff in, you know, what, 8 years now, and I'm kind of like, no, not 8 years, but like, you know what I mean, like 4 or 5 years or whatever. No, probably longer than that, right? 6 years or something, I don't know. Anyways, I haven't done it in many years now, and I kind of miss it, you know? It's just, I look at that and I'm like, you know, I'm like, man, it would be kind of nice to have something like that to do once in a while, like a little collection, like a little journey or something that I can take to like do, you know? It's just, like I said, once it's done and once you have it, it's kind of, the novelty wears off really quickly, because you take it for granted so quickly, you know? That's why Guardian is so good. Yeah, because of the burn that you get all the time, and then also you have, like I said before, one of the things that I think that Guardian has over other classes is that you have inherently all of your weapons are buffed based on certain traits that they balance, right? Like the symbol thing, for example, right? Like, this is a big subject right now, but all the Guardian weapons are always buffed by a whole trade line, right? It doesn't matter which weapon you're using, they're always buffed, because every weapon set has a symbol attached to it, meaning that they're always, in some shape or form, they're going to be buffed through that, you know?
Oh no, my dear 5,000.
Oh no, my dear 5,000. Alright, let's go get that. Let's go get that robot. My dear 5,000. Jumping in. Hello. See, and the key is destroyed, even though I didn't use it. Cool. Goodbye. Almost missed. Ooh, look at the tri-colored MOA group here. Well, the crimson one went like off the rails or something. But yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna do today. Like I said, I'm probably gonna sit down and watch a movie now, kind of relax for a little bit, and then jump into working on the video later on. So get out of here, you skeeter. Little skeeter friend. But yeah, thanks Mitch King, thanks Amortius, I don't know if you're still here. Thank you everyone that was here. Thank you that crazy guy that was like early on and told me to breathe. So I've been trying to do that, but breathing is hard. Still appreciate you coming by and hanging out. I'm probably going to be back with Guild Wars 1 tomorrow, so if you guys want to play Guild Wars 1, I changed my character. I made him, I tried to make him like a smiting guy. He's not really that, oh, he left the group before I could join. I was gonna go in there and just hang out, but it's fine. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna do Guild Wars 1 tomorrow, because I changed him around, so I'm gonna have him like smite, and we're gonna kind of do the Shiver Peaks. And yeah, so thank you for being here. And like I said, videos coming out shortly. So I'll see you guys then.